But he does have quite the following.
Yeah. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Skateboard Nation. I am sitting here with Billy Ruff. Wow, Hall of Fame. 15. I mean, I'm still blown away by how many contests you won during your time.
Seriously?
Yeah, I am, man. I mean,
I like track it too.
well, you're actually like probably like all the pros. You're probably like the top 5 most winning pro skateboarder. I mean, not a lot of people can say they won 15 pro events.
I didn't know that either. So
yeah. Well, no, I mean, I looked through all of those. I mean, I've been going through all the magazines, trying to do my research on everything, and like, okay, Tony Hawk. Mm-hmm. And if you're gonna go into freestyle, then of course Rodney won forever.
Cab was probably in there somewhere.
Yeah, Cab is in there. There's a few guys that are definitely in there, but man, let's say in San Diego, you're definitely probably this number 2 guy who did it, man. You've had an incredible career.
Great.
And so anyway, but let me start off.
Sure.
Let's talk about, first of all, where you grew up, where you got in, like how you started skating, how old were you? Like, there's a lot of that stuff. I don't know that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I guess start at the beginning. So I was born just outside of Boston in 1964. My dad was a military intelligence officer, so he was on the road traveling quite a bit. Born just outside of Boston. Shortly after that, within the first year, we went to Scotland. My dad was doing something with the Navy up there, so off we went to Edinburgh. Pretty young. I remember a couple things, like, on a golf course, and they were really hilly, and all of a sudden, like, I was in the bottom of this one or whatever, and then everybody was gone. I'm like, what the? So I remember, like, screaming and yelling on a golf course. So Scotland for probably 4 years-ish, back to the U.S. In there, I think it went to a couple of different military bases, and my dad was back and forth to like Japan, Okinawa. He was up off the shores of Alaska too for some.
Okay, so you say your dad?
Yeah.
You were with him though. Or were you
No. I was here. He was on.
Traveling and doing.
We were
working. He was working.
Yeah. No, we didn't even know where he was most of the time.
Okay.
He was like, "I'm going here," and then he would tell us where he actually was when he got back.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, just me and my mom. With him coming back and forth. So at age 12, I landed in San Diego. My dad came out here and he had something where. The guys that protect the president, standing in the helicopter, that was his gig.
Wow.
He was the psych evaluator.
Okay.
Like, okay, sorry, dude, you're not going to make it. Why? Because you're nuts. So he did that for a while, and that was kind of cool. But we got to San Diego, and I think it was just starting 6th or 7th grade or something like that. Just only child, didn't know anybody here. Hadn't really quite figured out sports too much. I mean, I played a little bit of soccer, baseball, just because. But I got here around age 12, and this is for San Diego people. Marston Junior High, or maybe it was middle school at the time, in Claremont. So let's just call it 7th grade. So we got here about 2 weeks before school started, and I'm just trying to figure out what I'm doing. So I go to school, and I'm like, well, all right, you're gonna have to probably socialize a little bit. So let's break this up. Okay, here's sports guys. The guys that smoke pot. There's the guys, the football guys, all the different
groups.
Yeah. Right. And I really didn't quite have an affinity to any of it. I lean more into like the math and science guys, but
You're a nerd.
I was a total nerd. Yeah. If it wasn't for skateboarding, I'd probably be a very wealthy nerd by now. Because I used to program computers at like age 12.
Yeah. Wow.
And then skateboarding took over, and I forgot what a TRS-80 was. So. Yeah, you just have to write your own code to make the spaceship land on the ground. It's pretty cool, actually. So anyway, so at age 12, so I'm first few weeks in junior high or whatever, and looking around all the different sports. Yeah, football in the ass. Not gonna work for me. Soccer, maybe. I think I went on the bowling team or just doing whatever to occupy my time so the thing is. So the Pepsi team was kind of a local semi-traveling team that go around to different schools and do demos and do all that kind of thing. And at Marston, they did a demo, for instance. I tried to figure out who was actually at that demo, and I've nailed it down to a couple of them. There was, I think, Pineapple. Was that one?
He was on the Pepsi team.
Yeah. Actually, you might know more of this than I do, but I think Pineapple. I don't know if he was at that demo or whatever, but him, Bucky. What's Bucky's name? Not Lasso.
Yeah, no, I know. Remember Bucky, redheaded kid.
Yeah. He was
I can't
on
remember
that.
his name either.
There was like 2 or 3 other guys in there, but Dennis Martinez was part of that too. And he was I think he was already a senior or junior over the high school at Claremont. So anyway, so he was part of this whole demo thing. And I was like, just holy shit, this is like the freaking coolest thing. I mean, I was like, oh yeah, this is like amazing. So, and I'll circle back to the story with Dennis. Down the road, but so skateboarding itself, I was just like, oh, this is freaking cool, and because most of the people really, like the football guys, nobody really knew what it was. They just kind of left you alone. It's not like the slackers and the whatever the sports guys are always fighting around. Oh, they're just like, okay, skateboarding, yeah, fine, just under the radar. So I started skating like literally that day. They had this blue portable like quarter pipe thing with curved edges.
Was it plexiglass? Or was it?
It was more like fiberglass. It was like a molded quarter pipe with turns. And I mean, I can draw it for you exactly what it was, but so somehow, if Dennis did this or whatever, but so they did the demo, and I think it was like 1 or 2 days or something like that. But somehow they're riding this blue Pepsi quarter pipe or whatever, and they shoved it into the loading dock on the back of the cafeteria, and it stayed. And I think what it was is, I don't know what, I think, because Dennis lived right around the corner, so I think what he did is somehow got them to, like, I'll take care of it, and he just left it at the school. And so those guys would come and skate it, and I'd watch, and I was like, oh, wow, this is great. So that night, I went home and talked to my mom and dad, and said, okay, here's the deal. This is, here's what I'm going to do. Okay, so I literally like hounded them nonstop that night until they finally took me to the store till I think it was Toys R Us or whatever, like
one of the big chains.
Yeah, exactly. And not exactly your quality skateboard retail shop. I didn't know any better. I didn't know what like a Black Knight versus a Super Surfer or or whatever. But I'm just like skateboard. Oh my god, literally, I was like tortured them. So they finally went down. I don't know, maybe I had a birthday coming up. School had just started, so probably around that. I'm like, I just call it birthday, and my dad's like, cool, I'm done. So it was like this blue plastic fiber, whatever. I mean, like called a Super Surfer or something. It's probably like, I don't know, like 22 inches long, about 4 inches wide.
So there's no pigtail or anything on it?
It did, but it was just like this little
wedge.
Yeah, it's a little wedge, but it was in the molded plastic. And I thought that was just like the coolest thing ever. I'm like, yeah. So literally that day, I started skating.
These are ball bearing wheels.
Oh yeah, oh for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So at that point, I mean, it was like on.
So that'd be like 76.
Yeah,
75, 76.
Yeah, 76. We got here when I was 12, so that puts me at 76.
Okay.
A few months in, so yeah, late 76, something like that. And I just skate, and my mom and dad used to like walk around Mission Bay a lot. I'm like, I'm coming. So we'd go down there, I'd skate, you know, and skate and whatever. So from there, I think I like started. I had this really shitty board, but I didn't really know. Yeah, I had no idea. It was just me and yeah, and the magazines had pictures, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll get there. But yeah, just constant. I think I built a ramp in my backyard, and then I started to get to kind of know some of the other kids. It wasn't a lot of us, but there was like Eddie Gomez, who skated, this goofy foot guy up the street. Dennis and Pino, I really didn't know them yet, and when I circled back into the thing, that he was actually at that demo. Anyway, so I kept skating, and eventually, yeah, I'm looking through magazines. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of a shitty board. Well, actually, everybody told me it was a shitty board, and I'm like, okay, fine. So somehow, and I don't remember exactly how this came about. There was my cousin, well, not by blood, but my dad's best friend's son. So, you know, in military, that's your cousin.
Yeah.
He had a bunch of boards from, I don't know where he got them. I think he pulled them out of a dumpster or something like that. And the brand was called Sackett. So he gave me one, the wood board, and then I put the trucks and wheels on it. And he was like, oh, this is going to work, you know. So somehow I got a set of like Bennett trucks, probably from him. And these, you might recall this, blue Kryptonics wheels.
Wow.
Super soft.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, so, you know, riding down the boardwalk, what's that? Oh, I'm here. So anyway, so I've got a better deck now. I think the trucks were Bennett's at best, maybe unbranded or whatever. But then these blue Kryptonics, there's like
Those were the best.
they had like three different colors. There's like red was the softest, blue was second,
Green.
and green. Yeah.
Green a little bit
And I
harder.
think they were like 70 millimeter too, so they're really big. And I was just like, when I put it together and then jumped, I was like, oh my God, this is like, wow, that from that to this. Oh, okay, cool. Now I get it. And then just kept skating and, just like constantly, literally like if I was either in school or skating, in the neighborhood or whatever. And I think probably within, it'd have to be around then. So probably the beginning of 77, I figured out there's these things called skate parks. So I got my dad to take me to, I think Oasis was probably the first one. There's some other, maybe it was Home Avenue Moving On Skate Park, which is kind of by Spring Valley, was it?
No, Home Avenue was right up the 85, right like center of San Diego. Yeah.
Yeah.
94.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
94 Coronado Bridge.
Yeah. So, I remember there's like a gas station or something next to it. So, and my dad was kind of thought it was, I guess I was getting better, and he's like, wait, this is kind of weird but cool. So he kind of started to, take me to different skate parks and stuff like that. But skate parks were, they were still there, but they weren't usually very crowded. Not a lot of fun. I didn't really know anybody, but I was starting, and I'm like, okay, well, this is cool. So I kept skating. Then Oasis, I think that turned into my home park. This is probably living in Bay Park area or Claremont. That was probably one of the better parks in the area because it was Mission Valley.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
It was before they put the. At the time, they had two teardrops. There was the brown tile one that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of contests and photos like Burt Lamar, Doug Saladino, Bobby Valdez with an invert. So that one was really fun, and that's the one we mostly rode. Well, you remember those?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So I basically lived at the skate park, So the two teardrops, they had the Oasis who won that one? You remember?
Dave Hackett.
No way, seriously?
Dave Hackett won.
Freaking won, actually?
Dave and I actually tied. And they went to the first, or the second score or whatever.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They did it, but that's where Dave Hackett came to me before the contest and said, "This is your home park, and you're never going to win this contest." And I didn't even know who Hackett was. I was like, okay.
So did he have like a backhanded deal, or
I had no idea.
it just worked out that way?
I just knew that I wasn't going to win, so I was told I wasn't going to win before the contest.
Right.
That was the first contest my dad ever came to.
Oh, seriously?
He was also he was a Navy pilot. So.
Oh, right on. Yeah.
So I get the military thing. We were going over all the places
Oh, yeah. My
your dad did. My
he
dad
was-
was the same way.
He was a Marine,
Yeah.
so when he was doing a lot of the, so they would put a Marine. This is the way it was told to me. Is like, let's take, like, when he was stationed up in Nome, Alaska, it would be actually a really good story. So, anyways, in Nome, Alaska, he was there was like, I don't know what these like PT boats or something. It's like a 6-man crew or whatever, and they would put him in the front of this thing on a perch, and he would listen to the communications to find out what Russia, was talking about, and more importantly, what he thought they were going to do next. So he
Sounds like the very beginning of the Navy SEALs.
not quite.
I don't know what year those guys came in.
Yeah.
So,
Not quite that. What's the
but he's an intelligence officer at the
Yeah,
same time.
yeah.
So
he- his code-
and
Your
all
dad
those guys.
G2?
as a Marine, he wasn't civil service. So I don't know what's a G2.
G2 is it's intelligence.
Yeah.
I don't know what he. I don't think I recall hearing
Our
G2.
fathers knew each other.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I asked my dad about that before he passed away.
Yeah, I mean, there was. He was still in the Marines out here when he did. Really, I had no idea. That's awesome. What was your dad's name?
Major Marty.
Major
My dad,
I remember there's
my dad
a-
was special operations for 25 years.
They could have crossed paths. Yeah, my dad wasn't so much on the management side of it, but on the tactical side. I remember there was a major that was around.
When you gave me your first clown boy, I took it home, and he goes,
I know that.
I know that name, and he told me all about it. And he's like,
Right
"Hey,
on.
you're the son," and he said it was you. So,
Small world, huh? Yeah, that's
small world.
yeah. Skateboarding brings people together, even generationally. Sort of like Oasis, right? We're up to Oasis.
Yeah, we're at Oasis, but we also have, you mentioned you had backyard, like, were you doing, when you first started, did you get a ramp immediately in your backyard, or did you,
Pretty
was
quick.
okay.
Yeah, it was kind of like supply.
What was that like?
limited.
What was it like?
Building a ramp or having
No,
a ramp?
having the ramp, like, how big was it? Like, what kind of transitions did you have?
It was really bad. Like we built this half pipe. Like I say, it's kind of supply dependent, you know.
Yeah, of course.
So you'd have to kind of do some. Anyways, you had to find the wood to build the ramp, and we eventually figured.
Well, during election time was great. We would go out and get all the wood.
Oh,
They always have
or Super Bowl Sunday.
yeah, the big 4x8s out there with the people on it, vote for such and such.
Oh, totally.
We would have to get a truck and friends, or we just run and grab it and run it home.
We did all
and do
the.
it,
We did
you know.
all the. I mean, ideal. Like some people give us wood, like a construction site or whatever, but it was you had to get a little more creative than that usually.
I remember that. But no, I was just kind of curious, like,
Yeah.
as far as the size of it, because, like, I know I built one in my backyard too.
Yeah.
And I had one was actually made out of a fence. It just like fence slats and 2x4s.
Whatever
and put it on top.
you can get your hands on.
Exactly. And then the next one I actually built correctly. And made a form on it and did the
Oh,
form.
actually, like cut.
Yeah.
I just used like this and the one going this way and that, and eventually it ended up having kinks and everything. But I think it was like probably 8 feet wide. No, it wasn't 6. Probably it had to have been 8 feet wide. probably no flat bottom, you know, just like in the backyard. It was.
My flat bottom was the cement that you pushed on.
Yeah, to the next quarter.
And it was about as long as this room I had to push before I hit the ramp.
And
So,
I ended up.
which is 14 feet. Because that's how big our our patio was.
Mine,
It's like 14 feet of cement,
Yeah.
slab, ramp was on the other side.
We did the exact, or I did. We built a quarter pipe and up next to my fence, our fence, and then we butted up next to the neighbor's fence and his stuff. And a few weeks into it, he kind of comes over. He's like, "Hey, can you guys pull up with this ramp thing? My shed that you're standing on is your deck is kind of not working really well, right?" So I had to go buy him a new shed. He was really cool, but yeah, we didn't care, man. I was out there as long as I could. I didn't care what I skated, you know, it didn't matter, you know, as long as I was skating, you know, and then you kind of start to meet other people and you get to become really good friends, you know, because it's.
Well, I remember meeting you. I don't know how old you were, if you were 12, 13, 14, at Oasis. And that goes to the old story of, I found out you were taking like 3 buses or something to get to Oasis. And I was like, dude, I live 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit further for me to drive to go pick you up. I'll just come and get
That was like the best day in my life at that point.
Yeah, and I don't remember how old you were.
I was probably 14.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think I was sponsored by Yo-Yo, starting, maybe I was on GNS at
Making
that
your way
time.
at that point. Okay.
Yeah, and I could basically, the way it was, like, you know, you guys would all be at the key, the blue, they put in that blue keyhole, which was like great, a little tight, but, so you guys were all that, like you, Dennis, Steve Cathy, Lane Oaks, Rodney Barnes, everybody, yeah, and about that time, because before that, I was just kind of hanging the snake runs and just to figure out, but I had started to get a little bit better because I'd usually ride during the day when you guys weren't there.
I want to say, because I remember when I was talking to you and stuff, you were already starting to rip. And I noticed it right, I was like, okay, this kid's going to be good.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, it happened really quick.
Yeah.
I mean, I was pretty, because it's funny, I think back on that, and some guy was talking to me the other night, I don't know what we were talking about. He's just like, so let me get this, Bill. When did you turn pro? And I said, well, I think I turned pro at like 16 or something like that. He's like, when did you start skating? And I'm like, and at age 12 or something. I mean, at that point, you just kind of lay it down to repetition, like the 10,000 hours concept, and I was just into it, you know, so 10 to 10,
Yeah.
10 to 10.
Hey, man, I remember those days.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You used to come and pick me up. That was like that stupid bus, man. I literally it was 2 buses, but the thing was like the first bus that I was on, you had to get onto the second one all the time. And it was the bus that had just left. And I'm like, fuck, you know?
Yeah, they sit at the bus station.
And I even told the bus driver, I'm like, can you like tell that guy to slow down? Because I have to wait here for another freaking hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, why are you such in a hurry? I'm like, well, I don't want to just wait around. I'm like, go to the skate park.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, I'll see what I can do. And sure enough, I mean, it got better, but it was still like, fuck, it still took me like anywhere from like, on a good day, it was an hour and 45 minutes. On a bad day, it was 3 hours, one way. And then, yeah, you'd like, I think you're either listening to me bitch about the bus or whatever, and you're like, dude, man, I got you. And then you would drive from your house up to Claremont. I'd meet you on the corner where the Tooncraft.
Yeah, sometimes. Otherwise, I just came to your house because you weren't there. So.
Oh, it wasn't on the corner yet? Yeah, that's. Usually it was pretty good, but it was probably one of those. My mom was like, "You are not leaving this house until you do your math work." And I started to just do it in the class before, so that way I could just leave.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
And that's you had that bug it used to drive me in.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, that was like I still think that, like, at the time it was really cool, but like in hindsight, it was like super cool for that we're still friends.
Yeah, man.
And we followed that same path. You're a few years ahead of me, which is kind of cool to
Yeah, I
navigate
was
with you
like
guys.
4 years ahead of you.
Yeah, that's practically a generation in skateboarding.
At that time, it was.
Yeah, that's a
Because
generation.
when you were coming into your prime at 16, 17, I was 21, 22, heading out.
Yeah.
And I was being told by everybody that I was too old and I couldn't skate. And it really dawned on me that, I watched, we're going to see some footage here coming up of Billy skating. And one of them was at the Del Mar contest. And I was thinking, like, you know what? I was doing all those tricks that he's doing in that contest, except for 3. And, granted, there are 3 big tricks, but, there's a couple other things, right? We're showing the footage right now, so you guys can take a look at it. Here we are at Del Mar. Everybody, a lot of people don't know this, man, but this wall right here that he just hit, it has a big bump, a big lump in it.
Oh, it's close to
it's a little bit
section, but yeah.
Yeah, but you'd hit it. If you didn't go far enough to the, I don't know, out the left of it, it was like hitting mush.
That,
so
that
bad.
pool was, I don't know,
Look at that, man. It's a nice neck.
yeah, that was,
above your head really nice. Right where you are right there, man, it was like mush.
yeah, literally right there. Yeah, 'cause I think I came up too close, or I wanted to do that in front of the judges, and more likely. That's horrible.
I watched some other interviews on you, and people talking about how you wrote a contest.
Over the contest?
Yeah, like you always start out with a banger trick, like big.
Oh yeah.
And then your last 2, 3 tricks were just like the mind-blowing stop the contest type tricks.
And that's what you're supposed to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? That was always my plan.
Yeah.
Always start off with
That's
something
like
big. and then-
it's dynamics.
Yeah, but, and it's the hardest time to do it because you've been skating for 45 or 50 seconds and you're getting tired. And I don't care, you can skate 10 hours a day every day, but you're in that situation and you're playing and you get tired. Your legs get weak, especially if you've done it all day. And
Yeah, especially the contest, because our events were always last,
Yeah.
That's the thing, like, used to kill me is, not kill me, but I just thought that was so usually like, skateboarding was just trying to come out. And they're like, well, how long you run? So I'm like 45 seconds. And I'm like, that's it? I'm like, trust me, here's that. Why don't you just, stand on your hands and walk across the sidewalk for 45 seconds, and that would be almost what it would be like.
Wait a minute. That comes in from the gymnast side of you. That's the gymnast talking, right?
I was never a gymnast. I just like to
do gymnastics.
Yeah.
That makes you a gymnast.
Yeah.
That's like Tim Hair. He was a gymnast, right?
He on the other hand, was actually... Oh, yeah, he would have been... If skateboarding didn't redirect his mom's plans, Steve would have been an Olympic-level gymnast.
Yeah,
Bart Connor was his coach or something like that? Anyways, whoever the gold medal Olympian was.
Yeah, okay.
Gymnastics. Why not?
Steer was amazing.
Short. It's easy.
I don't care.
Steve is.
I know I make a lot of people mad and stuff, but I will say that he was definitely the first person I ever saw do a frontside invert.
He was the tonic sport.
He was the very first guy I ever saw do a frontside rock and roll. I was still amateur at the time.
Oh wow!
It was at the Big O contest. It was the only amateur contest.
Full face protector, that red one or whatever he was wearing.
And you know what? After he beat me, he was instantly my friend. Dude, I was so stoked on that.
Yeah.
Who the hell is this guy doing this shit? And what really beat me, really did it, was he went and did a ho-ho. That was his last trick. And that's
so he was doing those even at Big O.
I was an amateur.
Is that the one where you had you're amateur?
This had to be like June or... I don't know, like 88, definitely 78. So this had to be like April, May, because the magazine came out 3 months later. And that's why I was like, it had to be 3 months before. It was October, November issue. So whatever 3 months was before that is when the contest was. And when he did the ho-ho, after he did the other 2 tricks, I was like, well, I have to go learn that right now.
Yeah.
And then he did the ho-ho, and I was like, forget it, I ain't never learning that. He never
That-
made the trick. He didn't even make the trick. He went up
But you
close,
could,
everything else. Oh, yeah.
That was like the switch one, right?
Yeah, he walked back to this and came back and he dropped in that and I didn't make it, but I was just like,
He got that far.
give him the trick. Give
Yeah,
it to him, man. I don't care.
absolutely. That moment
And-
that you had, I had the exact same thing when McGill came back from Sweden and did the 540.
Yeah.
They say you know where you were when Kennedy was shot. I'm a
Yeah.
little young for that, but I didn't remember where I was when McGill did the 540. So I did tell, and I know where Neil was too. He was inside. Well, actually, we both saw it. I was in the mouth of the pool. He was farther up, and
You guys heard Del Mar?
we were at Del Mar. Yeah,
Okay.
so McGill went to Sweden with
Yeah, I remember.
Cavendish guys.
Right.
To learn that. Well, not to learn that, but
That's where he first pulled it.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
where because they
first
had the
pulled
big
it up.
transition.
Yeah.
Like in the U.S., it was still 8-foot transition, so you didn't have a lot of
Running room.
reaction time and height and all that. And
It was
once you
kind of
got
like
there,
hitting this table and fell.
Yeah.
You got one step.
yeah,
Then
that
you went
was.
down.
So he did that,
Yeah.
and that was the. I mean, I was in the mouth there, just and I'm like, really? Fucker, you couldn't have waited a couple of years till I was done. So anyways, that moment I said, okay, here's the deal. If and when you learn to do that in a contest, then you may be able to move on to another career.
Yeah.
It took me a while, but eventually I did.
You made 540s too.
Yeah, just a few, but
Yeah.
usually at the right time.
Okay, that's good.
And Neil was in there too. Like I was in the mountain, I think he was there when he did that. He ran into the pro shop. I don't know what. I'm trying to remember. He ran into the pro shop. It was like pool tables and all the games. And I think he hid under one of the pool tables and said, "I'm never fucking coming out." Something. I mean, if you know Neil, that's. I'm not saying that's what it was, but it was in that. Something. If it wasn't that, it was very similar.
Yeah. That's kind of like Neil would do something.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it probably wasn't even close to that, but you know, you can kind of figure. Right? So yeah, that was your Steve Schneer ho ho moment.
Yeah.
I know exactly how you feel.
I was just an amateur when I saw that, and I was just like, "Are you kidding?"
That
me,
was still advanced, you know, for
Are
years.
you kidding? Like,
Vulnerable when I saw that.
I only,
Like what?
I only saw Steve do it, and I actually just not too long ago. I don't remember where I was, what park, but somebody else pulled one. And I was
They're
like,
not.
oh my gosh.
They're not easy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like about 5 different things you have to be able to do. That are all 5 of those are really hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, Steve is great, man. He and I toured a lot together. Because you kind of get like those who like to tour and do demos and autographs and all that stuff, and then some that just didn't. So for whatever reason, Steve, myself, and Bill Danforth kind of seemed to be the Three Musketeers thing. So like if I got a gig, you know, to go to an event, I'm like, okay, I'm coming, but these 2 guys are coming with me. Usually wouldn't get both of them, but I could usually get one that they'd pay for to go to. And then vice versa. If Steve would get a gig, he'd, you know, bring us along. And usually what would happen is like the 2 that got paid for would go and the 3rd guy would just show up anyhow.
Yeah.
And yeah, Danforth, Schneer, and I, and we
Where was Danforth at then? Was he living in San Diego too, or was he? Where was he? He's a nomad. He's everywhere.
Yeah. He was. He left Detroit, came to San Diego, North County.
Was he back during the beach time, like Dave Crab and everybody was down in Mission Beach and?
He was,
Was he-
yeah,
he was
actually,
down that time,
yeah,
wasn't he?
absolutely,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
It's
remember
hard
that.
to roll the
remember.
tape. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
down. Yeah, that was like.
He was another one of them.
Yeah, I feel kind of bad because he was totally sober up until that point, and I introduced him to Mission Beach, and then he was just done.
Oh, you?
Yeah,
Oh,
well, I don't know if it was me, but it was definitely, you know,
Yeah,
it was certainly my
whole
friends.
thing.
My friends can absolutely lay claim to that.
Yeah.
You
just hey man, you know what? That was a crazy time.
I just set the chessboard, man. However you play, it's up to you. But yeah. So Danforth, Steve, and I would. I mean, and then Danforth and Steve both moved to Phoenix or Tempe or whatever. I was still in California, and well, I never moved. But while they were out there, this there's a ramp that got built in the Patty Sellers ramp. And it was like one of the best ramps ever built. And the woman's daughter was really into skating, or more like into like the guys that were skating. But they were developers, and they built this like awesome ramp. And it was pretty unknown. Yeah, it was pretty unknown until I was at a demo in Las Vegas with Jim Gray, Paul Perry, Tim Miles, either way, a handful group there. And I got to meet them. We got like, that's where I first met those guys. Kevin Staub, I think, was there.
Yeah, of course, it's in Arizona.
Yeah. So a couple other guys, and we got to know each other really well in a couple of days for the contest. And they're like, hey, there's this ramp in Phoenix that's really cool. I'm like, dude, it's freaking 110, you know? I'm like, well, here's the thing. The ramp's really cool, and there's a pool next to it. I'm like, with or without water? It had water in it. So anyways, I took off with them and a couple other people who I think I don't know if Jim did. Either way, so we met all the guys in Phoenix, and I think we stayed for like 3 weeks. And we just had a blast. You know, we'd skate from like, 8 to 10, 8 to 11. And then it got too hot, so we'd go to like long ones and do these like wings. I mean, either way, we had this whole like routine. And yeah, Schneer and then Danforth started to get interest. So he came out and then moved in with Schneer, and just that turned into that whole Phoenix. It's like a summer training camp.
I can't even imagine having Danforth and Steve together. Like,
Oh yeah.
Talk about crazy shenanigans just
for sure. Yeah, for sure. It was.
You could just walk around and just be laughing at that the whole time.
The thing that was funny is like after a while, because like I went there and it was really cool, and then Danforth and all that. So we started getting other people to come out. Like Christian started to come out more. It's like a whole bunch of it. So all of a sudden you got 20 plus, pros skating this ramp in Phoenix, and
110.
Morning, take a break, go to long walk, sleep, come back around 7. I think she even had lights on it. Anyway, but it was great. That was literally our, secret training.
Wow.
And it was great. Yeah, we had a blast. That was super fun. Because parks were gone. There really wasn't there were ramps around, but not like that, because that was a destination ramp, not a drive-through ramp.
I gotta ask. Okay, so you won like 15 pro contests. Okay. Would the majority of them then were ramps?
They're still cool. I mean, Del Mar was still there.
Okay.
But yeah,
Del Mar was like the latest and last of the contests. Of the venue, or the skate parks.
Yeah, it was. So, maybe Kona Skate Park in Florida.
They're still open.
But that's a long ways. Yeah.
Still open.
Yeah. But no, ramps, pools were still there, but early 80s, it was dropping off. And they almost stayed around for so long because it was.
This is the Del Mar right here. Here's some footage of you. This is 82. This is like, what is that? 8mm film. So this is some really old footage. And you had to be like,
Chatters.
probably had to be like 13 at that time. Probably. What was it in the fields?
Yeah, it's like 18.
Yeah, okay. 18.
Well, I was probably driving by then. There's no way in hell I would get my dad to drive me up there. It must have been right around, about 81, 82, something like that.
It says it right there, 82. So, you remember the 82.
Yeah, internet never won.
It's just funny, like, 39 is like 82, and they're still using, heat with heat. This came 4 years earlier, they had the big news.
Big map. Battery pack.
There's only one person that has all that photo. Actually, I know.
Ray Allen, right? That's
Dylan has a little bit. Eric Sash has a little bit. too.
Eric
So-
Nash, because Eric was on GNS. We picked him up, and I'm trying to think who he was around. Yeah, Eric Nash was
He's gnarly.
yeah, he was great. No, we're also young back
There were
then.
so many guys that were just like, everybody was just a little bit pretty close to the same.
Yeah,
And everybody
yeah.
had like one or two tricks, that separated everybody. And then it was if you could stay on, made you
absolutely.
make the contest if you were
There's
consistent.
There's probably 8 or 10 guys or more, literally that could win any contest at any one time. And it usually came down to, staying on your board, which is, one. But then two, the other part was whoever, was able to put a good run together to kind of do that. But yeah, there's so many guys that were so good back then that people never really, like, there's this one guy, Dave Zakshevsky. He rode for Powell, did these like backside ollie airs. Like, no, back then, like, literally, this might not sound much now, but like 3 feet out.
It's
And
huge for back then.
Oh my God,
We're talking about like
Yeah.
1980 or 82 even, Anytime, everybody does the backside ollie 3 feet out today.
Right.
They still gnarly.
Yeah, absolutely. And that guy was one of the,
I don't remember. Where was he from?
Lakewood, Dave Z is.
Oh, I remember David Z.
Yeah, Dave's actually.
He's Goofy Foot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, wore a lot of green.
Yeah, he used to do huge backside ollie.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Axel Park was Upland.
I don't think so. I think he was.
I know he destroyed Upland.
Oh, he was really good there. Yeah,
everywhere,
I
yeah.
think his home park.
But yeah, I just remember him as David Z. I never heard his last name.
I probably don't even pronounce it correctly, but yeah, Dave Z, Dave Zakshevsky.
He wrote from GNS.
No,
Oh,
Powell.
he was at Powell.
He was
Yeah,
Powell,
I remember him Powell.
And just using him as an example, I mean, I think that's one of the things I really like about skateboarding so much is that at the end of the day, everybody wants to win for the most part.
Everybody, if you're not out there trying to win, then what
Correct,
are you trying to do,
But you don't want to win for the sake of someone else not doing well. You want to win when they're at the top of their game.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
And he was just one of those guys that he wasn't great in contests or anything, but after that contest, if you thought back, like what were who gets the golden boot for the soccer goal or whatever, he was always in the top 3.
Yeah.
And it usually would be like that 3 foot backside ollie, 1 foot came off the board, hit the coping,
And he held on.
and just freaking and he would make it, and he was totally deadpan face too.
Here, it's funny. I'm gonna go off my script here. But,
I'm probably not helping, but
oh no, it's all good, man. And this happens every time. So anyway, but speaking of that, okay, think about a contest that you skated where that happened to you, where you had to make the trick, you locked up, and you still pulled it off.
Del Mar that you just showed where I landed.
That was the trick. Oh, invert, and then you just grabbed the back
That was
and went in.
that was not planned. That was absolutely not planned, but I wasn't going to fall. Well, if I was going to fall, it would be for a very
Okay,
good
you got
reason.
that Del Mar clip? I don't remember. And then this is it. Oh, this might be it. I remember that. That's when he did it in that sloppy area, man. It was like a little boat was. And there was really no vert right there.
No, it didn't.
And
Yeah, it had that punch.
it had that, it was like a bump. It was like a squash. There you go. It was terrible.
Right, I don't know how you see it, but
you see it right here.
where the
Yeah, it was like, oh man, yeah.
absolutely was not planned. The thing was where the camera angle is and where it sits right now, just behind it to the left, where the judges.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna do something, interesting, that's probably a good place to do it.
Yeah. That's you.
Yeah,
That was
definitely.
man.
Yeah. Oh,
You put your hand up and hey, everybody's.
I'm done. Yeah, I'm out. Bye. So there's so many guys. Like one in particular, and I'm not putting you in that category.
I don't care.
I want you to explain. Okay, I'm going to take over the mic.
Okay.
Do you have that footage? I don't know if you don't. I'm not going to disappoint you. But the picture of him at Big O pushing from the arcade all the way across the park into the face wall of Big O,
It's
probably 4 feet then, but that was like
no, it was about five and a half.
even more. So
It was
yeah,
just at the fence level of that 5 foot
yeah,
fence
no, that was like
there. But I did, man. I pushed all the way, hit face wall, had no idea what I was going to do. I was trying to get out of the contest.
yeah,
Because I was sick,
yeah.
and I was coming out of the bathroom for a reason.
Well, that's what
And
that
then
was.
they said, "You got one run, Andrew. If you're not here." Yeah.
That
Were
was
you there at the contest?
Absolutely,
Oh, were you?
yeah. I was literally
Okay.
I was AM. You guys were pro at that time, so I was done, and
was worried.
we always wanted to come over and watch the finals, on the Capsule Bowl, and yeah, I was sitting like picture the capsule, the entrance, just back and to the right in that dirt area because we were done, and we're like, great, whatever place we got, but. I
That's
absolutely
amazing, man.
remember that when I think Potato may have been the announcer. Or anyways, whoever the announcer was.
It was either Hoffman or Dave Moreland or could have been Potato.
No, it wasn't. No,
It was Hoffman.
yeah,
Yeah, it was
I was gonna
Hoppy.
say, yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah, I don't remember, man. I just remember that.
Yeah, see
they
if
were-
you can find. Yeah,
I got it.
yeah. I want to see that. I want Dave to narrate what's going through his head at the
Are you
time.
kidding? Let's get out of here. You really want to know that?
I absolutely because you've told me the story. You've told me the story, but I want to hear it again.
Yeah, well, the story was pretty nasty, and
Oh, you can
okay,
use
but I'll go
metaphors if
through
you
it, no
want.
problem.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, while he's trying to figure that out,
Sure, yeah.
Trying to figure it. Yes,
While he is
I know it's a pain
figuring
in
it
the
out.
ass. I get it.
it is.
I know. So anyway, it's not on the script, so
No,
we're
it's not.
we're gonna make fun of it, man. It's all good.
He said just free hands. So here it is.
So okay. So skate parks that you skated, I just was curious to like all the San Diego parks.
I
Okay.
just remembered a couple more too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So basically, it started out with Carlsbad #1.
Right.
And then it went to moving on skate park
Down Home Avenue. Right.
And then Spring Valley opened up.
Yes.
And then
Well, they were open before I got there, but on your timeline for
yeah, I'm just like going through like the type of thing. I don't remember if Coronado was open at that time. I don't think there was anything.
I didn't even know there was a park down there.
There's a park right now.
Oh no, that
Yeah.
one. Yeah, that one I know.
Okay.
You know what I
Anyway,
just heard? Sorry, real quick. There's a skate park at Campland by the Bay in Mission Bay. That weird little place where all those trailers
I know
are.
that. There's a park over there.
There's a freaking skate park there.
That's right. I remember.
Yeah. Because somebody,
Okay.
I was talking to somebody, I think at the pump track or whatever, and they're like, dude, have you been to the park down in Mission Bay at Campland? I'm like, no, what? I'm like, there's no way. And he's like, no, trust me, there is. There absolutely is. And sure enough, I checked it, and there's, on a 1 to 10, it's probably a 3 or something.
Oh, it's perfect for me then.
But it's there. It's absolutely there. So,
That's perfect for me.
yeah, that was. I was like, there's no way.
Did
But-
you ever skate the park the park that was existed for 3 months down in El Cajon or La Mesa's?
I skated La
park?
Mesa.
Did
Yeah,
you?
I skated La Mesa.
Yeah, La Mesa, was that the one that had that half pipe that actually went downhill? Like you drop in, man, you're going 100 miles an hour and it was super rough. Oh my god, it slams so hard in that. That's why I never went back to the park.
Sure.
And the El Cajon pool, if I remember right, it was kind of like Vista. It had combing that stuck out about 4.5
Yeah,
inches.
yeah.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know if I ever rode El Cajon. I did ride La Mesa once or twice. God, there's a couple of guys, Darren and something or other.
Oh my god, Nick?
Yeah,
That's her
yeah,
name.
Darren and Nick. Yeah, their dad.
I don't remember their names.
It's Darren.
Aaron and Nick, that's all. Those guys, those were,
Yeah.
guys that were,
Yeah.
they always went to Spring Valley, and then they were
Well, they
from that
lived
area.
there. Yeah, I think they were from La Mesa. Or
Yeah,
something.
both of them were came
Either.
from, well, one came from super money. Their house was like,
Yeah. I think that was Darren's side, right? And they just kind of tagged along.
Nick was Nick. I
Yeah.
love that kid though. He was awesome.
Yeah,
But-
that was kind of when, like you're a skater and that's great. So, you're awesome, and it didn't matter. It just, you had more friends to go to the skate park with. But yeah, I rode La Mesa.
I remember Nick
times.
was probably like 10 or 11 years old and he came to Spring Valley. He had a bong and I was like, are you kidding me?
Why that sounds about right.
Blew my mind, man. I mean, I was like 18 at the time.
It was like little kids at
But-
10. That sounds about right.
That's like, I hate to say it, but my Christian this Toy Story was the same way.
Yeah.
Pulling up and looking over like.
I had one of those days, and then I'm just, I can't do this. I cannot do that.
I love giving Christian a hard time about it every chance I get. He's a comedy man. I gotta get him on the show. He said he would.
Oh, he'd be great. Yeah, for sure.
I was like, all right, killer. But so something to look forward to, everybody.
No, absolutely.
But anyway, yeah, I was just trying to figure out like what parks that you got to skate, because like even outside, you skate in Lakewood.
Yeah.
You skate in Marina.
Oh yeah.
Okay, the Brown Bowls.
Yeah, I love the Brown Bowls. The Gold Cup.
Oh yeah, right.
That wasn't the. I think that was the stop number 4, and then Upland was the final.
Upland was
Yeah,
the ender.
because it's like you can get hurt there.
Yeah.
So don't put it in the first
I'm
one.
trying to find out. Right.
Yeah.
That fool's a beast, man. It took my hip out. My hip still sticks out. It was just more on my left side and my right side. Cause
Yeah, I mean,
I got squashed twice in a row doing frontside invert in the square pull. And I just got all the way up to the top and fell straight down twice. The bottom.
no transition.
No transition. No
Nice.
slide out. Just it's
Straight
slide, man. Yeah.
That's usually a
I
shoulder.
remember tears were coming out of my eyes, and I was walking to get my
Under
board.
contest?
Yeah, oh no, this was before the contest. I knew if I made that, then I had a chance to win the contest.
Right.
And so that's all I thought about. It's like, gotta win,
Yeah.
The other thing is the reason why I asked you earlier about like is there a trick that you did that you just like pulled it off and you just were like, holy shit.
Probably the invert. Yeah, I remember that because I've never done that before, even if I tried, But in the moment, you got the adrenaline. Your endorphins are just off the hook. So you're pretty. Time's moving pretty slow for you, So, like in the zone or whatever. But yeah, that's at that point, it's funny. Time literally slows down, and I don't think I've ever done that again since. At the time, yeah.
I remember at the.
Oh, is it, you found it?
Yeah.
Did you find it? Anyway, I just remember that.
Wrong one.
I just remember I was at Upland, and it was during the finals, and I never did a foot plant in my life. Never did a foot plant. And
Inside?
yeah, just a foot plant.
Either I remember you doing that at that event, or you started doing it after that event. Okay, yeah, because I'm like, I've seen you do those.
I only did it in 2 contests. Foot plants in 2 contests.
I seem to remember a flyaway picture with it in the round bowl, maybe, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It was the last trick, so
It might have
I
been.
remember.
It might have been in a magazine. And
No, this wasn't.
Maybe it's good, right?
I never saw.
Yeah.
I would love to see the picture
I
because
totally. Yeah.
I just remember I was in the round hole in the face wall.
Yeah.
And I had like 10 seconds left. And I popped up there and I stood up there like. And I thought, oh my god,
Zeker zal
Yeah.
doen.
and I just
Morgen. Zeker verder doen. Ik doe het morgen. Morgen. Morgen zal doen. Niet vandaag. Niet zelfs niet zo niet. Ik heb geen goesting. Nee, nu doe ik het niet. Maar ik kan u wel beloven. Het is de eerste.
no idea I was going to do it in the finals. And again, I ended up tying with their aggression for first place.
Oh wow. Yeah. That's
And then he got first place because of my, it's always going to break. Okay, so
it's a little dark.
yeah.
Doe het morgen. Dat ik zeker zal doen. Morgen. Zeker verder doen. Ik doe het
One that actually
morgen.
shows you.
Morgen.
can
Morgen.
find
Morgen
it.
zal doen. Niet vandaag. Niet zelfs niet zo niet. Ik heb geen goesting. Nee, nu doe ik het niet. Maar ik kan u wel beloven. Het is de eerste dag begin. Een goed nachtje slapen. Vries eruit de beker. En ik doe het morgen. Dat ik zeker zal doen. Morgen. Zeker verder doen. Ik doe het morgen. 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 Dat ik morgen zal doen. Ik heb geen zin. En ik heb geen zin. Ik ben te goed om te prutsen aan dat ding. Psychologisch voorbereid.
I don't know, 3 big, huge Mountain
Because
Dew.
you were sick, right?
I drank 3 big, huge
that-
Mountain Dews, and I didn't eat anything, because it was
Doe
so
het
small.
morgen. Dat ik
Those
zeker
have
zal
like
doen.
4 times what I
Morgen.
can.
Zeker verder doen. Ik doe het morgen. 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 Dat ik morgen zal doen. Niet vandaag. Niet zelfs niet zo niet. Ik heb geen goesting. Nee, nu doe ik het niet. Maar ik kan u wel beloven. Het is de eerste dag begin. Een goed nachtje slapen. Vries eruit de liggen en ik doe het morgen. Dat ik het zeker zal doen. Morgen. Zeker verder doen, ik doe het morgen. Morgen.
I mean, your
Morgen.
is like
Dat ik
up.
het morgen zal doen. Ik heb geen tijd en ik heb geen zin. Ik ben te moe om te prutsen aan dat ding. Psychologisch voorbereid.
That's or whatever.
I was scared to death of this shit like this. That's the truth, man. I just they said, this is it. Your last
Doe het morgen. Dat ik zeker zal doen.
And I remember somebody
Morgen.
saying,
Zeker verder doen, ik doe het morgen. 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 Dat ik morgen zal doen. Niet vandaag, niet zelfs niet zo bied. Ik heb geen goesting, nee, nu doe ik het niet. Maar ik kan nu wel beloven, het is de eerste dag begin. Een goed nachtje slapen, frissen ruit en vliegen en ik doe het morgen. Dat ik het zeker zal.
So then I grabbed the board and ran back up, and then I made it.
the first one you missed?
No, I missed the first one.
Doe het morgen, dat ik het zeker zal doen. Morgen, zeker verder doen, ik doe het morgen. Morgen, morgen, dat ik morgen zal doen. Niet vandaag, niet zelfs niet zo bied. Ik heb geen goesting, nee, nu doe ik het niet. Maar ik kan nu wel beloven, het is de eerste dag begin. Een goed nachtje slapen, frissen ruit en vliegen en ik doe het morgen. Dat ik het zeker zal doen. Morgen, zeker verder doen, ik doe het.
Contest. There's only 4 or 5 guys ahead of me
Yeah.
that were going to get put in, no matter how good I skated.
Yeah.
And I skated, so I always figured like, okay, so what I'm going to do now is just go as big as I can.
Yeah.
And that's why I always try to go as high as I could on whatever it was,
That you
just to get the photos.
That you
And to
absolutely
get into the magazine.
You absolutely did that there.
Yeah, so that's what I did. And after that contest, after I was out, I think I got 8th place in the contest. And then after that, I just failed and went home. I was like, oh,
You're like, I gotta get to my home toilet.
I gotta get home, man.
Well, you know,
So,
it's funny that you're saying you're kind of pigeonholed into that thing.
Yeah.
It's not like this is a long time ago. I don't know if he'll remember it or not, but yeah, Caballero and I were talking about that. Because there's this, it doesn't matter who you are, whatever, as a judge, you carry with you certain
Yes.
concepts or thoughts or memories or, you know, what opinions, whatever. So it was funny that once you break that, you get that first win. Once you get that first win, the rest fall in line. But that first one is so hard. You have to.
yeah. Like any championship boxer or whatever, you gotta
Yeah.
like really annihilate them.
Oh yeah.
And then get that reputation, and then after that, then they keep kind of throwing you in the like, okay,
Yeah,
you're
like
top
every
three,
trip.
you know?
Oh, maybe you didn't have a great one. Let's just put him through and
Yeah.
see if he did. So no, absolutely. I remember Steve and I talking about that a long time ago.
So yeah, my first year, you know, I was always in the top 5. Second year, same thing. Then the third year, kind of got pigeoned in the 6 to the 8
Yeah.
kind of mode. And no matter, I mean, like, you know, there's a thing for me on that I was really pissed about. Not anymore, but I mean at the time, the upper keyhole at Marina contest. It was
Oh,
like
God. Yeah.
It was one of my last contests that I skated. And
Is that the Gold Cup?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. Was it
Maybe it was the
Gold Cup?
last contest they had.
I think maybe it was Gold Cup. But I just remember, man, I skated so good, man. I did finger flips,
Yeah.
you know, finger flip pogos, and
Yeah.
I did just like so many tricks that nobody else did. And I didn't even make the top 10. I was 11th.
See,
you know,
that's
and I was just like,
Yeah.
what the frick? What are you talking? And it was funny too, because
Yeah.
for me, you know, they were like number 7, number 6, number 5, number 4, and
Oh,
I'm
you're
going,
placing
yes,
to go. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
and then they come up to number 1, and it was somebody else. I was like,
You thought you were
oh
gonna?
my god.
Were they showing the scores at that time, or did they have them closed off?
No, they were so
Okay,
scores,
okay.
you know. It was like, I think it was at 87-33, you know, and, but I
Yeah.
was like,
Oh, right. Yeah.
I was like in the first or second group of skaters at that time. It was like me with Caballero, I was with Caddy, and
Right.
and with McGill, I think was in my my thing. And
Oh, and it was
like-
just it was the heat. You had to
Yeah.
win the heat or whatever.
no, it wasn't even about winning the heat. It was just the top 10 place guys.
Oh, best
got to go to
score
the finals.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah.
I tied for 11th at the time. So, yeah. What am I looking at here?
I just put the Gold Cup up.
I see the
Oh.
turning point round.
Okay. Yeah, I know.
What park is this?
Marina.
That's
Oh, it is.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
It's a Gold Cup 1980.
Pal didn't.
Oh, okay.
Pal forgot to pay their advertising bill. No, seriously.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, if you don't pay your bill, they put your sign upside down.
That's comedy, man.
Yeah. Didn't work. And Stacy's like, cool, turn them all around. It's better.
I will pay for them.
Yeah, it's, people recognize that more.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, I'm like, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah. Can everybody see it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what we're talking about. All right. Well, sorry, folks. We're watching.
Oh, you know what?
the old
You know what's funny? Just the other day, like my wife Jill and I went. They had this thing called Cruel World Music Festival in Pasadena, in the Rose Bowl, in the stand.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's like probably 15 bands spread out on this golf course right next to the Rose Bowl, freaking like, half a mile apart. So, anyway, so Devo played, and the set times, I think they had like 35 minutes. They're really, really compressed sets because so many bands, and it was like 100 degrees. But Mothersbaugh, well, the brothers and the third guy sounded great, And what was really funny is I think they missed their set list or cue or something like that, because with Freedom of Choice, the one, because you filmed that at Marina, right?
That's it.
Yeah, I was talking to anyway, so they were playing, and Jill and I were talking. Was another like side note is the sound was the worst until Devo showed up, because they're sound engineers.
Yeah.
They're sound engineers,
Those guys
so
know what they're doing.
I'm sure they brought all their own stuff through the sound guy and said, "Don't touch your stuff, get out." And oh no, I have no doubt. It sounded fantastic. Yeah. But anyway, so I'll wrap this up quick. Anyway, so they're on stage. They have maybe 35 minutes or whatever, and it looked like they're going to go into Freedom of Choice or whatever, because they have their gear on, like the knee pads and stuff like that. But then it didn't happen. So I think I texted you or something.
Yeah, you did. You texted me on that.
Yeah,
I was like, who is that?
Diva. Well, 60-year-old Diva. But that was, I think I don't know if I got invited to go up to that or something. I was out of town.
Well, they're doing a tour right now, because I know.
It's a farewell tour.
Yeah, I think Eddie.
Diva's tour?
Eddie,
They just did Pasadena last weekend. It was great.
Yeah, Eddie Algera. I was out at the La Quinta new skate park out there, and Eddie told me that.
Because Eddie was in that too, right?
Him and Donna were going out to the one in Vegas, and they were hanging out with Tony. Tony Hawk was doing a special showing of his new movie and stuff that was out. So
The Wheels Come Off.
Yeah.
I kind of was.
Yeah, I watched that thing. It was pretty cool.
It was actually really good.
Really well done.
Yeah, it was.
But I'm looking at HBO, and that's who did it.
Yeah.
Those guys do a hell of a good job. So
I just thought it was kind of. It's funny because they came at it from a totally unique angle. The abuse that your body takes. And I'm like, well, that's because some of his falls and like really, really bad ones that were on film.
Yeah.
What about the other 90% of the time that is not on film?
You know what? I know. And
those were brutal, the ones I saw, you know?
Once we saw John Martin, he was shot.
Well, it slams in that When the Wheels Come Off, the movie.
It's a great movie.
It's actually really, really well done. But there were two scenes and plus he was 50 plus when both of these things, one he was trying to do a loop or something and slid off the top and head, ribs on the corner of the thing.
Rib thing,
so that, and there was another one, I don't know what he's doing or whatever.
It was the opening sequence where he kept falling over and over and over. He was trying to do 720.
Wow. I missed the beginning. I think it may have been in that, and it was just a cut, but the thing is whatever he did, it didn't look like it was going to be a bad fall, but when your reactions are that of a 55-year-old guy versus 25, and he hit, helmet broke, flying, he's just like literally ghost white and blood already on him. I'm just like,
I remember that one.
Like, Tony, man, just
hey, just be a spokesman, man. That's all we need.
Yeah, I'm like, dude,
you don't have to kill yourself. I know. I get
it's like, dude, people are just as happy to like hang out with you without you dinner with. You've already
proved himself.
You're
over.
You're all good. You're all good. Nobody's gonna say what. Yeah. But that was it was pretty scary actually.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Sorry, we're getting.
yeah, man. I mean, I'm on my first paragraph here of your career on that.
Okay, I'll try to.
Okay, so here's the next big question I have.
Yeah.
Okay, so you made up basically the 540. Everybody's giving you credit as far as the frontside 540 goes. I called a couple friends and asked them their opinions of it. You know, I mean, I watched it. Hey, Tony Hawk said it, so I was like, okay, man.
Yeah, Antonio's. There's no benefit to him stating
Okay,
that.
at
So
the unit. Okay. How did you name the unit? Who named that?
to be honest with you, I really don't know.
Yeah, picture that. We get like that one video go up there.
The one Del Mar.
the 85? Yeah.
Del Mar. And
Not the slide out one. I want to see a good one. I want to see it first.
I don't know. I think it came together because it was a Miller flip and one more, so it came together.
Is that what that thing
coming
was?
to one. Yeah, it was a Miller flip and 1/2 more, so 2 pieces of it. It's like a unit coming together as one.
And that's where it came from. That's where you got the name.
I think so.
I think it would have been cool if it was called Ruff.
We didn't. Well, you weren't supposed. You weren't supposed to do things like that back then.
No, I just figured like the magazine or somebody would do something like that, you know? I didn't name my trick or anything. That's another thing.
Oh wow,
too,
actually
man.
that did stall pretty long.
Yeah, you did. You did a nice slow lander too on one of your things.
Oh,
it's on the other one.
Oh, is it on the other one? Okay. Well, anyway, we'll pull it up for you so you can see, you know, the unit. You know, go back. This is like 1984, right?
this one.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, this when you first came out with it. This probably isn't the first time you did a unit, you know?
No, I've probably been doing it for a while, but just I don't think I quite had it together until.
Like 83?
Yeah.
Probably 83. You did came up with what, 85? 84? Yeah. So, I mean, hey, hands down to the deal for that too, because that was super. Yeah.
That was yeah.
But when you learn tricks like this,
It was my deal. Out of 20 guys,
no, next one. That was a beautiful hand wreck.
Really?
Here it is right here.
That's slide out.
Yeah, that's a slider. But hey, it's still made it past the green. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't call
Back in the day, that's how we did it. Drained everyone when we made it. But yeah, that's I mean, that's an amazing trick to come out with. I mean, back then we just didn't know any better, you know.
Yeah.
So it was like to come up with something that unique. And the Miller flip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was supposed to have Daryl in here last week, but he bailed out on me. He couldn't get down
he's
here.
he's
But I'm gonna get his butt down here and talk to him because you know
he'll do it. Just he'll do it.
He's comedy, man.
He's totally like like people on a shy or whatever. It's I think we were at Eddie Elguera's Palm Springs the event, and actually the first time I met Daryl, yeah, first time I met Daryl, so we were hanging out and got to talk to him, and so I don't know what it was, but like we were in the waiting area to go skate or something like that, and somebody, I think Buddhist from Sweden or whatever, is like interviewing people, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool, Daryl, let's go do this, and you could explain the Miller flip, and then I could take it from that and just put the puzzle together, and he's like, no way, I can't do it. I'm like, yeah, whatever, fine. Yeah, so and he literally, like, when it was time to go, I started walking, he literally turned around and ran. Yeah. Like, literally ran. Dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, and it was like in a private, like, video setting. Yeah, and I'm just like, dude, really?
Yeah, Daryl's just not that type of self-promoter. You know, to do that kind of stuff and sit there and take credit or something like that. Even though, like, I know the story behind it, you know, and learning it and why he wanted to learn that.
Tell me the story too, because I know refresh
basically, when he did it, okay, so, you know, he was riding PowerFlex with Bobby Valdez.
Yeah,
and,
right.
And Bobby Valdez came out with Hand Plant.
Right.
And everything was Bobby. So he had the March Complex or Jam Complex. So he thought to himself, what can I do to sit there and get that attention? So that's when he went out and learned the Miller flip. And he
Yeah, okay.
wanted to do something. He started out with a front side invert.
Right.
And then he kept over rotating, and they just turned it into the Miller clip.
Yeah.
And that's how that was created. But I'll let him tell the story.
Yeah,
The way
like
he tells it is really funny.
It was. I think I heard it. The net end result is the same, but I think the process of how he got there.
Yeah, I know. I kind of went around a little bit. Yeah, he definitely has. It's really funny. Well, one thing I noticed too is, the skateboard family that we are. You had all your GNS guys, okay, and you're still really tight with everybody.
Oh, you mean like on the team and everything?
Yeah, like your team guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
That's funny because I know, I talked to basically one, maybe two guys from Sims. So,
Yeah. I think that
like on a semi-regular basis, that means like
every
maybe
3 months on social.
no, like maybe once a year.
Oh, gee.
Yeah. So here's a picture of the guys right there.
Oh, yeah.
Two
Neil
of
and
them.
Jim.
Yeah,
It looks like Larry's paddle out, maybe.
It was.
Yeah.
Okay. But I mean, Jim's Jim, dude.
Yeah.
There's not too many guys better. And of course, Neil is
Neil.
Neil.
Yes.
I got a phone call from him.
Wait, is he
You're
gonna
looking at me like I'm
Is he
crazy.
going to come in and do your...
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay. I sent him. I think I sent him. Either way, I reached out to him.
Yeah.
Either I haven't heard back, or I did send him the phone number.
He's probably just working.
I don't know. He's.
I love Neil, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember my closest thing for GNS is being part of that family was after skateboarding. I started working for GNS. The sales rep with Steve Cathy.
That's
and
right.
Scotty.
Yeah,
And we did all of basically from middle Central California south and all the way out to Arizona, Nevada.
Right.
So it's a rep group. And that was the closest I got as far as like working with everybody at GNS. That's how I got to know like all the GNS guys.
That's what's funny is for whatever reason GNS didn't happen for you. I have no idea, but San Diego with GNS, but San Diego in general has a very active skate family thing. And you're part of that. A lot of people are, and to get you, because we're all in San Diego, so it's pretty easy to run into each other every once in a while.
The thing about it is it doesn't even have to be a team to be skated or anything else.
Yeah.
I have guys that are, UFO and, like old guys.
Yeah.
And the best thing is, I think, like, all these old guys, and I'm like, wait, you're older than me.
Yeah, it's okay. Come on.
Geez, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't tell you how many guys I thought were, like, older than me because they were tall and I was a little guy.
Right.
Come to find out I'm 2 years older than them.
You're like, oh, man.
Hey, you punk,
Yeah. Yeah.
Doug Marker is probably the one guy that I always thought was so much older than me.
Right.
Because that guy has been, full grown since he was like 8.
You're telling me that. Yeah, Doug,
And he looks exactly the same today, man.
Yeah,
25 years later.
he's
He's
side
still
by side with him.
It's amazing.
Older. He's like a Japanese.
His face never
Yeah.
changes.
He looks at his hair.
His hair got a little gray, but he still has all that same hair as he did as a
A
kid.
lot more.
Yeah, I don't know about that, dude, but
His wife is well aware of his appearance interests.
yeah, that's good though, man.
That's dude. I mean, whatever. So,
But did you have like okay, so what year do you remember when Gator got on the team?
weird. What year?
Was he riding for somebody else before he got on GNS?
Yeah.
Or did GNS did Steve? I mean, Kathy, that guy put together what an incredible team.
Steve?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
You, Rogalski.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, even before. I mean, this is just after that generation, but there was I remember Bill Toko, Kid Billy came aboard.
They were the second.
Those
group.
guys were like the
second group.
guys that were, just
the second group.
out.
Yeah.
Oh, Jim Gray. Jim was in there
Jim
too
was
now.
early.
Yeah,
Jim was
he's-
early. Yeah.
Yeah, so like that was a pretty smoking team right there.
Yeah.
Of
So
big name players.
Well, I mean, so when Gator came on, it was from Escondido. When he came in with Greg Weaver and Dean.
Greg Weaver.
Yeah.
Really? Another Greg. Not first Greg, second Greg.
Second Greg, yeah.
Greg
I see first Greg all the time around town. Yeah.
We just every now and then.
We just went and caught a surf movie a couple months ago.
Okay.
So yeah, Greg, Dean, I won't say Calvert, but either way, his first name's Dean, so it's Dean.
I think it is Calvert.
Yeah. You put a guy with
Yeah.
wristbands and
Yeah, he had a good time.
I'm like, dude, man, do yourself a favor and stop doing that. And
That's right.
yeah, I'm like, trust me. I go, skate around in Escondido, you may get away with that. When we get up to Marina Del Rey, you're gonna get your ass beat. So, and don't look for any help from us. Yeah. But probably I would say that Gator joined 79, maybe something like that.
Okay, so that was early then.
It was really early, yeah. I think he was on Dogtown for a little while.
That's right.
Yeah, it was that.
That's right.
And he wanted more support from a team, and then we were here in San Diego and so on. So yeah, like 79ish or something like that.
That was early, man, because that's like I think when I first saw him.
Yeah.
It was like in '79 at that Whirling Wheels. That's the
Escondido one, right?
And that was like, that bull was actually horrible, and he destroyed it from every angle, man.
It was really, I do have to say of, the guys that rode that part, he was by far the best.
Oh yeah, no
it was tight and smooth and everything.
It was tight. That coping was bouncy too.
The guys that used to ride that, I mean, it was a peanut shell. They would ride it end to end instead of side to side.
And the waterfall was huge.
Yeah.
What was it?
The waterfall, you roll in and then it had that whole...
Oh, yeah, right. It was just wrong, And for those guys to get that good at it, well, yeah, you know that. Yeah.
No, it's true.
Yeah, we only went there because we had to.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
It certainly wasn't on our. Hey, Steve, can you take us to Escondido? Not against Escondido, but the park.
I got to skate it once. That's all I skated.
Yeah.
It was one time. Went up there, skated.
Contest or
no, just I went up there just like I think it was like a demo that we had to go do.
Yeah.
Went up there for it. I don't even know. I probably think I went up there with the bowling guys actually.
Yeah, right.
And,
Actually, you and I were going together. Right.
And was with bowling,
that
and we went up there. And that's what we
Steve
saw.
Williams or
Mike
Williams.
Williams.
Yeah, Mike Williams.
Mikey.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So so that was Escondido. It was a crazy pool. That was for damn sure.
Yeah, I mean, and it fielded some pretty good skaters. I like just in like Gator, Greg Weaver, and Dean were competitive. I mean, obviously competitive.
Dean kind of had like dance style at that point, didn't he? I mean, he kind of was like a. I hate to say this, like a Tyrannosaurus Rex or something. Like
Dean?
Like he had a lot of tricks.
Yeah.
He did a lot of tricks, but I remember that was the one thing I remember about it. So
Yeah, that was
okay. All right, so it was the same Dean.
It was the same.
Remember.
Yeah, it's the same Dean. Greg Weaver is really good. He was one of the. I mean, he was one of those guys that would stay on at all costs and usually would cost him.
Exactly. I get it. I know.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, anyway, everybody, just a quick break. I just want to say, if you're enjoying the show, please hit like, subscribe to us. We're trying to build this thing and make it fun. We got some really good plans coming up. Really more people like Billy and coming on board. I'm not going to say any names until I get them in here. Only because, we're skateboarders and we're busy.
Sure.
Billy was actually right on time. That's a new record for us. So,
1 out of 3.
Sitting there calling him like, hey, please come. Are you on your way? Are you going to be here?
Hey, you're a military brat, so you know how that works.
I know.
There's 15 minutes is on time, and on time is late.
That's exactly right.
Right, 5 o'clock.
Yep, if you're on time, you're late. Yep, 15 minutes ahead of time is on time.
Yeah. Okay, so back to it. I gotta ask, did you have a nickname? I don't remember you ever having a nickname.
there was like Blue Tile or something like that. I think Cab and those guys.
Really?
Yeah, when I was something like that. I don't remember, but it was like that because I was young, small, and just learning. And did a lot of my tricks like low.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but that went away after I got a little bigger.
That's kind of crazy. Cab of all people, he couldn't have said that. Because Cab was right there too, at the same time. And he was little, man.
Oh yeah,
You know?
no.
You know.
It's not like with malice at all.
Yeah. Hey, all I know is that kid came in his first pro contest. Oh wait, let me start. His first amateur contest and he kicked my ass. Yeah.
Him and Scott fought,
Yeah,
man.
it was Winchester.
Yeah.
And actually, he really saved my ass up there. So Steve did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's when I quit Sims for the first time.
Ah.
So those guys that got there from the bowling van threw my stuff in the Sims van, started to go skate, and then the Sims van takes off and throws all my shit in the parking lot. And I had no place to go. And Mike Williams. Okay.
Oh,
he was
yeah.
going,
Right.
He was going downtown San Francisco.
Shit.
I had no place to stay, and Steve.
They just bunk it with him. Oh, yeah,
So,
sure.
and
That's
he was like, I don't know, 11 or 12 at that time. And I was like going to sleep in the bowl that night.
right.
And, that's what we did. It's like down to the pro shop,
Yeah,
So,
Marsh.
yeah.
Grant on the pool table.
Yeah, we all did that. So,
Or highballs.
yeah.
There's
like 6 and.
Oh, for sure. Especially when the contests were coming up, all the international guys would start to show. And the miniature golf course that was there too. It was like some of the there's some Scottish guys that came in, Graham and this other guy. One was in the windmill, the other one was in the shoe or something like that. He's like, it's really cool. You just open up the back and, it's like a little house.
Yeah.
I lived there for like 6 weeks.
Oh my gosh, man, that was comedy. There's so many people that have Del Mar stories of people who lived in Del Mar, whether it was in the golf course or outside of the tennis courts on the next door.
Oh,
and they would run in there and take showers and stuff. That was a lot of people. That was good,
Yeah, all the international guys. There's U.S. guys, but more the international guys.
Tony Mag.
Tony Mag, yeah.
the station wagon.
Yeah.
Well, they wouldn't really consider like lodging part of their budget.
Yeah.
Once they had enough to get the travel,
and that's it.
everything else,
Yeah, we don't
let's
care.
not worry about it. Yeah, no big deal.
Someone will take care of us type of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, that was pretty good. So, all right. So, you guys all got along pretty well. All GNS guys?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Like nobody ever fighting or
Oh no,
saying,
no.
None? Nothing?
I mean, it's before my time, but McIntyre used to have food fights, if that counts.
Oh, yeah, man. I remember those, man. I actually was involved in one.
I'm not surprised. Yeah, fortunately I missed that window. That was
Yeah, that's. I will say. I'm only bummed because I know how well they took care of everybody.
They did pretty good, yeah.
I remember from the outside looking in, just like, I wish my sponsor would take care of me.
Yeah.
Sleeping on my car and
Hey, giving you a bus ticket instead of a plane
But I
flight.
wasn't as bad as Hobie. Hobie would send guys to a one-way contest and say, you better win if you want to play home. That was
I've never heard that.
that happened to the guys in Colorado.
Oh man.
Like, I know that's when Eddie left. 'Cause
Yeah,
he was with Hobie.
he was Hobie for a long time.
And then Bill Miller, too.
Yeah, him
he
too,
did,
like
and then-
Torrance.
And Dwayne Peters. He was the other
Yeah,
one.
Hobie too?
Yeah, all those guys were on.
Wow.
All those guys got and Eddie Alguera. They all got one-way tickets to Colorado, and you better win or get your ride home.
Well, obviously,
And all
not
those
all
guys-
of them are going to win.
All those guys got picked up.
For other teams.
Yeah.
Oh,
for
yeah.
other teams. And that's when Dwayne went to Santa Cruz and
Eddie went to Veriflag.
Went to Hout, I think, after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, huh.
And Eddie went to Veriflag. Yeah.
Right.
So, and yeah, so it was
And those are 3 top guys, man. That's
absolutely all of them.
I mean, each of
guys.
those guys with different companies would be enough to carry that company easily.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I mean, and another thing too with GNS, like I know they did a lot. Excuse me. They did a lot of accessories and stuff.
Yeah.
So you guys had like Yeah, fingerboards, you know, like your GNS fingerboards.
Right.
You guys got royalties off this stuff, or did they ever pay you for that? Was that part of your royalty? How did
Yeah. So the fingerboards was actually a tech deck or something.
Yeah, tech deck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but GNS did.
Kind of a collab with them?
Yeah.
Okay.
They license, allowed them to license the art with the concession that royalties would
Okay.
be passed down to us off that.
Okay.
Yeah, they did. I mean, they're really pretty good about that. And usually, they would check with us first. It wasn't they just go out and do it and say, "Hey, you write for us, shut up."
Yeah.
They were really, really good about that side of it for sure.
Yeah, I just wish I would have kept some of those GNS watches.
Yeah.
The blenders and stuff, even though like right now.
Neil's are coming back out.
Actually, they're out right now.
Yeah.
If you guys are into like getting a Neil Blender watch, go on to just Google it.
3 dogs or whatever. Yeah, right.
And then they have the faces. Those are what's available right now. The 3 dogs one is out of stock right now. I just checked it last night.
Yeah.
You know, you're going through all this stuff. You know, look everything up.
Call Dave and maybe you can pull one aside
Yeah,
for
really.
you. Yeah.
Oh, I should call them.
Seriously, yeah.
Or call Debbie.
Either way,
That's one of
Dave
those
will
too.
remember to do it though. Debbie's like walking 3 jobs these days.
You know what? My heart goes out to her, man.
She's still doing it.
I know.
I mean,
Unbelievable, man.
it's definitely not.
Is Eric still helping?
Eric's still there. Yeah, he's still there.
That's great.
He sticks to the surf side of it
Okay.
and the advertising and art, and I think a little operations. Debbie does the
Little
skate
skate
stuff with
stuff.
Dave,
Yeah, right.
Dave Anderson,
Yeah.
and then she's also like the operations officer for the surfboard side of it.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, no, they're still.
Doing it.
Yeah, they're still doing it.
All right. So when you were growing up, and just who were the guys that you looked up to?
When I was growing up,
Yeah, when you were coming up, you were doing. You
skating.
said Dan. I mean, I know you said Dennis and Doug.
Yeah.
Those guys, 'cause
Yeah.
They were your first, like the pro guys.
Yeah,
Like
the first guys I was
outside of that.
still in skateboarding now.
Yeah, like SMLA, San Francisco, or
Yeah.
yeah, Europe guys. You know, Europeans. I know you get to travel a lot. So did you get to go to Europe too?
Oh yeah, a few times. Yeah, we travel a lot. I mean,
You got to see guys like Nicky Guerrero.
yeah, we actually when Neil and I went, I think we were over there going to Sweden. But we gave ourselves like 2 weeks ahead of time just to go screw around. Yeah, we picked up.
Jesus, man, I never got that.
Well, I had to go in and freaking build skateboards to get it. But
Okay.
I
Yeah, I did the same
had my
thing,
skin
man.
in the game.
If I had to
Absolutely.
go on a tour too, I had to go work at Goaling.
Yeah.
To put together trucks.
Yeah.
I did that for, I don't know, like 3 months for Walt.
Oh, I used to bring Danforth and those guys like Danforth. They come in and tell me, he's like, dude, I need to make some money. And I'm like, well, just come to GNS with me.
Yeah.
Mag grommets.
Yeah.
We used to, I ran into this guy. So anyways, yeah, myself, Bill, other guys would be down there like, putting boards together, packaging grommets or whatever at GNS. And also there was the surf division.
Yeah.
So to kind of set the image, think of 4 warehouses, 1, 2, 3, 4, all connected. Skate had 3 of them.
Yeah.
Surf had 1.
Yeah.
And Surfs had about 5 feet of room between the top of the ceiling into their room, so you could like get stuff over there. We used to go up like right around 3:30, 4 o'clock. We would load up on all these like seconds wheels. They'd already been written off going back, so we would just have like wheel fights, like just assault those guys. And I forgot all about it until I ran into one of those guys. He forgot about it too, so I got to remind him.
I remember there was a big Hawaiian dude that was in there.
Mossy.
Mossy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Debbie's husband.
Yeah.
Mossy. He
Yeah.
was
He was a good guy. He was quiet. He was a big guy.
yeah. He's a really nice guy.
So-
Tongan, actually.
Yeah. Oh, is he?
From,
Okay.
I think
I
it's
didn't
Tongan or
realize.
Tonganese.
I didn't even want to talk. I mean, I was like always intimidated by him.
Oh, he's super.
Yeah.
Like he runs on a very lower schedule than most of us, and he doesn't care. He's just like, he's.
Straight from the islands, or
Exactly. Yeah.
that's a whole different.
That's exactly what it was. Yeah, a really good guy. I think he's got a surf shop up in Claremont these days at Balboa, or he did at Balboa and Claremont Drive. Kind of
Now he does?
I know he did a few years ago.
Interesting.
He may have closed it, but I know he had for a while.
Okay. Wow. All right. What kind of what were your favorite tricks? What was your favorite trick you like to do? What was when you were skating? Your go-to trick? What did you?
I mean, it's I wouldn't say there's like one. It kind of changes based on where you're at and where your head's at. I don't know, like. But there's one to get like, I always like board slides are really fun. Yeah, maybe just being at Del Mar because you have that full front. And then really high backside airs was kind of cool too. Yeah, I mean, it depends where you're at and, you know, what time or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it could be some easy, like in Del Mar, you know, like you said, the left,
What the squash was?
yeah. So it would even be doing like a frontside grind right there, and then try not to like fall flat on your face because the straight. So it varies, you know. But I mean, if in general,
Did you have a trick that was harder to learn that you were just frustrated with? Other than the 540? Or was it just the regular 540? There's a lot of people that still curse Mike McGill to this day because everybody had to learn that. And back then, that was the
measure.
That was the measuring bar.
You could come, you could compete, but if you didn't land a McTwist, you're 6 or more.
Yeah, 15.
Yep, but that became like Valdez, Bobby Valdez with the invert.
Yeah.
That was that definitely was the measure.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to win, you need to work on that. And we did.
Yeah, I remember that trick during Hope 8th Street, when I was on 8th Street. And we had Hocus Pocus. That was the second video they came out with. And I remember those guys saying, hey, if you want to be in the video, you got to learn a 540. So I would say no. I'm like, all right, it's cool. You know, at that time I was 30 years old, and I was trying to spin them, and every time I made 3 of them, and all 3 of them I made.
Seriously?
None of them got on camera. Well, changing the film, battery dies, or the guy just filmed me 50 times and just put the camera down the one time.
And he's just tired.
And you're like,
fuck it.
Yeah. So I can honestly say I didn't hit 540s in my life.
And that's fine.
And I never forget that though. It was just the funniest thing ever.
Like, you didn't get that? You've been here for 4 hours. He's like, exactly, I've been here for 4 hours, you know?
You feel like wasting.
Like, that's what it used to cost money.
Yeah,
you know, like film or
digital, man.
Yeah, give me a new tape. Yeah.
So when you started getting successful and stuff, first car. What was your first car?
The 69 Mustang Fastback.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Was
that like your dad's car or something?
No, I went and bought it.
Really?
Yeah. It was fun.
Don't you wish you still had it?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a long way. That was I was kind of like a car dork or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, rebuilt the engine, put a 4-speed transmission in it, just all that cool stuff.
That was a badass car then.
It was loud too. Yeah.
Badass car.
It was fast.
I would have raced you out of Volkswagen.
This thing was really fast. Yeah. I do, yeah.
All right, so let's get into music. What kind of music were you listening to at that time? What was going on at that time? Because the music kind of split, kind of had a rock thing going on,
right?
Like I don't know, I want to say punk, but punk was kind of falling out at that time too.
New wave.
New wave was a part of it.
New wave was kind of jamming in there. So,
yeah. I mean, at 12, I really wasn't exposed to a lot of music or anything. I mean, it just was, I don't know, I didn't have brothers and sisters or whatever.
Let's go with 16 when you had that car and you're racing.
16, okay, yes, we'll go with 16. Well, a lot of it, like the stuff that came out, I didn't really connect with, rock, like with Led Zeppelin and all of that stuff. Not that, I mean, they're great musicians. Yeah. I think Jim's a really good musician too. Actually, some of his songs, like, wait, he did that? Again, when I really started to connect with it was when, I guess it's new wave that bring in, like, Cars and Joe Jackson and that kind of kind of stuff. And then from that moved into like the Jam, Plimsolls and that group. And then from there into like the Damned, Ramones.
I was gonna say, because I was watching your one run, and I don't know if the music was playing or not, but you had Billy Idol on it. And I didn't know if that was like a chosen song you chose at that time, or if it just being played.
It was probably just coincidental. I don't think I would have chosen that for a song for my run, but possibly. But
It's a good song.
It's a really good song,
fast.
right? But yeah, mostly that. Like Damned, the Jam, that kind of, mostly that. Some of the more hard punk rock stuff, but not really.
Okay. All right. So let's go into the Del Mar contest. You won twice.
I think I won a couple. There, 2 or 3 probably.
2 or 3.
I know I won I believe I won a couple. So.
Okay. Well, we have a couple pictures, and one of them particularly. Okay, so it's my favorite picture. And I want you to explain it because I've never seen it before, so it's pretty cool.
All right. Well,
okay.
What do you
so I don't know. What's this one? The foot plant. Okay.
Yeah.
And that was like the front foot off.
Yeah. So boneless or whatever.
Boneless,
yeah,
exactly.
I think that's what it was.
Okay. And then your next one, I think, was a big frontside error. Okay, here, frontside error for everybody. Okay, on this picture, you actually go around your knees.
Yeah.
Okay. I've never seen a frontside error that high with anybody going around their, I mean, in a long time, going around their knees to be able to get that kind of height out of it. I mean, I know people are doing it now, but there's not that many people that go that high around.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was pretty flexible back then, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't.
I just want to make a comment about it because if anybody goes and looks at magazines and stuff, like that right there is one of the top 5 highest frontside errors like that.
It's probably a wide angle lens kind of fooled me a bit.
I don't think so, man, because I was looking at that. And that's a good 4-footer right there, maybe more.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
So, anyway, but I thought that was super. Yeah, that's another thing I don't understand. How you got away with that? Because, okay, you were a GNS rider.
Yeah.
They had GNS trucks, but you rode Indies. And they had GNS wheels of all different types.
Right.
And you rode for OJ?
Yeah.
OJ.
Yeah. Well, those were, I think those were rollerballs, but I could be wrong. But no, I did. I rode for OJ for several years.
Was that before GNS?
No, it was during. Yeah, it was during.
That was kind of smart. That way you could get into Thrasher all the time and you skater of the year, and if you're riding any one of their products, then you're right up for that.
It really wasn't that actually, because most people rode tractors down here, going to, but
yeah.
And going we're okay, but small company, and all of that stuff. But Tracker up in Oceanside, I pretty much hung out with all of those guys. Larry and all the skaters. Neil was Tracker, all of them.
Look at that thing, man.
Yeah, it was good timing.
You and Russian.
Yeah, I remember.
Eric used to be able to install those things like for a lifetime.
Oh, we used to. I remember. It's funny you brought that up. We were down in Kona Skate Park in Florida, and they're it was at the top of the hill, and it wasn't very big, so people were kind of cramped. I remember like one time, like Eric, we were just like screwing around or practice runs or whatever, and I don't know if it was like me or either way, a couple of us were up there, and Eric goes up and does like an invert, and he starts to fall into us.
Oh, really?
And we caught him and pushed him back, and he rode back in and just finished his run. It was pretty good, yeah.
That's pretty awesome, man. And stay with it, too.
Yeah, I don't think we told him we were going to do it. It just was like, you just kind of work it out as you go.
Yeah. Well, I know after Del Mar, you had a lot of success there. Then you had Oasis. contest too. You had a lot of success there. as
Yeah,
well.
Oasis was fun.
Yeah, I mean that little pool was super fun. We got a picture of it right now up. I think that's a fakie ollie that you're doing right
Yeah, it
there.
looks like it.
And then you had this trick right here. Like, there's only 2 guys I know
Yeah.
that do that, and that is you and Kevin Moore.
Yeah, no, I remember.
Moore was like a LA guy. He was like a Badland guy.
But I think he moved down here to San Diego, didn't he?
Yeah, he lives down here now, but yeah. I remember actually being there watching you do those,
Huh.
and I was just like, "Are you kidding me? Like, how the hell can you do it and not fall straight down?" You know?
Well,
Yeah, Sims glove.
yeah. But, there's a good story about the gloves. But this, to be honest with you, I couldn't tell you exactly how, but I can tell you how. That's why, like at Oasis, it was kind of handy, as they had different other things in the park to skate.
Yeah.
And there's 2 or 3 snake runs in there with different
Little
varying heights and
Yeah.
transitions and all that stuff. So you could kind of work your way up to something like that. Because even before that pool, you could go into the other one next door
Right.
and kind of work the shallow end until you felt semi like confident. I'm guessing that was the progression of that, but that's how it would normally go.
Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, because Oasis, that was just a really good learner's park. It had,
Oh,
had
God,
a lot
yeah.
for everything.
Oh, for sure.
Except for that half pipe was kind of neat, but,
Yeah.
you know.
It's a lot of space to allocate. Like you could put like 4 pools in there instead of that thing.
I know.
And the hump in the middle,
Yeah.
because they put it too close to the city drain. I was like, guys,
Yeah, you
really?
had to look on the other side to find that, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of funny, actually.
So we'd ride it every once in a while, usually during contests when it was just packed, and so we'd just go screw around in the half pipe for a while.
But only the very end of it was any decent.
Yeah.
The very end of it
Oh,
was
that
decent.
front section was terrible, you know?
First 3 quarters were horrible.
Yeah.
But anyway, we skated it because it was still better than what we had before.
Yeah, it was there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So Marina, I want to go back to Marina real quick.
Yeah.
Because the upper keyhole, like, how would you rate that park? Was that like one of the top 10s that were out there for you? Like,
The
you skated?
park in
whole
general.
park itself, everything, the dog bowl, upper keyhole.
Yeah.
And the brown bowls were fun. Had a great big slalom thing
Right.
too. Then it had that, I don't know, was it like a 13-hole foot deep keyhole that was in there?
Oh
Monster,
yeah, that's
that thing.
right. Nobody, a couple guys would ride like polar bear or something, would go in there once in a while. To answer your question, taking everything into consideration, you said like, the whole park, throw in just kind of the people that skated there, the vibe, all of that. I would probably put that in the top 3.
Yeah.
Just because I think the first time I went up there, I was like scared, I was like 14, maybe 15 at most, and that LA San Diego rivalry thing was still, not quite in the rear view mirror. But yeah, overall, I mean, the park just I didn't really, the upper keyhole was fine, but it just, I don't know. I mean, coming from San Diego, the transitions were more mellow or whatever.
Yeah.
It seemed like it had a lot of kinks, so the transition was tight. So I didn't love that thing up there, but it was fun to ride.
I love that bowl.
The brown,
Perfect to me.
I like the brown bowls a lot.
Yeah.
Those were a blast because I'd never been on one of those before then. I was like, oh, dude, I need one in my backyard. Come on.
Okay, so last park I want to touch on real quick is Upland.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on Upland? I mean, that was like the pool of all pools.
Yeah.
And still to this day, but there's 3 replicas of it.
Yeah.
So obviously it made an impression on a lot of people, especially our age.
Yeah.
That thing was the beast, But like, what did you think? How did you like it? Do you remember how you did in the contest there?
I do. I guess to take your second question first, Yeah, I think that was during I was Gold Cup at that. I don't know if we did a pro contest there or not. I'm not totally sure, but I know as an amateur there was the 4th contest. No, that was the finals actually. Sorry, I think that was the finals.
It's finals.
Yeah, I mean it was pretty intimidating. You know, the pool and everything, and the square pool and the combi together and everything. It was definitely intimidating. Because coming from San Diego, the stuff was pretty forgiving down here. You know, there wasn't a lot of bird, there was flat bottom, you had time. That thing was, that was like a whole different dimension.
It kind of separated the men.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was pretty much the proving ground. It was a really good park. The pool especially was super unique to design, but for me it was a little challenging for me, you know, because I wasn't used to riding something with that much verb, big coping, just all the stuff. So yeah, I have a lot of respect for that place. And just did what I could, but I certainly. Yeah, I know I didn't. I think I took 4th or 5th or something.
That's great.
Yeah,
it's a great place there.
Yeah. It was enough to put me into the overall win for that. But Gibson was really close behind me. You know, he was chasing me. So if there would have been one more contest, it would have gotten really interesting. You know, but that was. So to answer your questions, it was cool, and it was okay, but it was a little intimidating.
Tex was gnarly. All the way around, man.
Yeah.
Just this whole demeanor, everything. I remember when he first came out, we're going with Stropel and NOA. They were both the guys that introduced Tex to me. And I was just like, okay, who is this Tex? Who is this kid, you know?
And then you're like,
and then they were calling him Tex, and I'm like, all right, so he's from Texas. I got that.
Yeah.
You know? Anyway, but he was just a super nice kid.
Oh,
he was
for sure.
You know, like very respectful, and that was awesome. Okay, so moving along here. We got some footage of the Trashmore demo. I don't know. I'd like a demo or a contest. I don't know. I mean, it could be either way.
Beach, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, Trashmore was the blue.
You know, yeah. So. Now, is this a contest or is this a
contest?
This is a contest. Okay.
Yeah.
So this must be like 83. Would you say? The only reason I say this because there's not a lot of people.
I think it might be 83. Because I could be wrong, but I think from this contest, we took off for Europe right after. And I think it might have been Neil and I going to Sweden.
Okay.
There was a couple tries. I went to Europe a few times, but the reason why, because that thing on my
You skated with a broken wrist before.
Yeah, I didn't have an actual cast per se, but it would be like a big wrist guard or something like that. This one definitely, it wasn't like a gnarly break, but it was definitely. And I broke it right before the finals, actually.
And you still skated the finals?
Yeah, and then I had to leave to go to England or Sweden or something like that, and I'm like, fuck, I can't bail, you know, got all this money invested in it. So, off we went, and then we went up to, I think this might have been the trip. I don't know if this is the one where I went up to New York with Jamie Mossberg or...
Really? Jamie Mossberg was around there?
Yeah.
Was he like being a photographer at that time?
Just started, yeah. He didn't have any of the video equipment or whatever, but he's from Long Beach out there, and for...
Jamie was around when I was around.
Yeah. I think he was doing some filming, either way, but we were driving... so we actually drove coast to coast. And I think I rode with him, got to New York. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to put the time on. Anyway, so that was Virginia Beach. I remember that very well.
Okay, so, all right, so then the next one, Clown Ramp? Houston, right? Where found some little footage in there, and I skated it once.
Yeah,
Kenny was in there.
Yeah.
And doing that whole thing, so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Texas is kind of, I mean, it's always fun to go down there because it just, I just get
Was there like a contest that you felt like you skated extremely well and you didn't place, or you didn't get first or second, or you thought you should have done much better? I mean, was there a contest that you just felt like you gave it your all and you didn't get, you kind of like, what do you mean I got sixth place?
Yeah,
how did the hell that happen?
Yeah, no, I know what
I'm just curious.
Since I'm not thinking of one right away, I'd probably say no. Because you kind of know how you fit. Like we were talking, like, once you win your first one, then you're good. Unfortunately, my first one was pretty early. Not really. Maybe the amateur days or something like that. But no. I think it was okay. I'll think about it. But I think it was. And if
We'll call me next week and we'll put it on. I'll bring you back.
Yeah, you bring me back and say, oh yeah,
we're gonna do this. But Billy's up. He remembers now.
I did. But to answer your question, not really. I mean, it was just more desire to win than actually like skating is good enough to do it. I would usually think, and that's the one thing that was really cool part. It actually, skateboarding showed exactly this in the Olympics, is that, you want to win, but you want to win against all your friends having their best runs. You don't want to win by somebody like getting hurt or falling or whatever, or working on a track. I mean, you want to win, but you do want to win
knowing you were the best.
Right.
That day.
At the cost of
That
somebody
day.
else.
Yeah. That day.
And that could be totally different, know. What was really cool about the Olympics is the women's street or vert.
Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah, the women's street or vert or whatever. And I'll move through this quickly, but there's like 6 of them or whatever. I don't know the girls' names, but she was the world champion, a Japanese girl.
Yeah.
And she was like the hands down favorite to win, and it was in Japan, and so, but she fell. Like she had all this like expectation on her from her country in her own country. First Olympics, winning the first Olympics is pretty freaking cool for the brag book, But anyway, she fell. And she was clearly, I saw this afterwards, and I was talking to Mickey Vukovic, because he's part of the USA skateboarding thing. And he had told this to me, but she fell, and all the other girls that were on there, it was like, Brazil, USA, whatever, multiple different countries. They just walked down, picked her up, put her on the shoulders, and marched her around. And that, to me, is pretty unique to our sport. I wouldn't see it, I don't know if you could even do it. Well, okay, let's use tennis. I doubt if somebody had like their worst, like, whatever, and started crying, they'd get picked up. No.
She was the number one in tennis.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
She was the number one going.
Oh, she was probably the hands down favorite. And what's even cooler, so one that was really cool, because a lot of people had asked me, what'd you think of the Olympics? And I'm like, well, there's a lot to be done, I go, but skateboarding's spirit showed well, whether it was a cool park or whatever. But anyway, so there's this thing, you may know it or not, I don't know if you guys, it's like the Fair Play Award. And with the Fair Play, I never even knew it existed. I had no idea, but it is inclusive of every athlete at that Olympics. And I think the 10,000, like say there's 10,000. One person gets that, called the fair play, who embodied the spirit of fair play in the Olympics across boundaries. The 4 girls that picked her up and watched it all won it. And that was, I didn't even know until Mickey explained it to me, and I'm like, holy crap, I'm like, that...
So they won an Olympic medal for that?
Yeah, it's called, I think it's Olympics Fair Play. And it's only given out to one person, team, or group out of like 10,000. And skateboarding won it. Like their first thing, and I'm like, you know what? Skateboarding showed well. You know, can the event be better? Of course. You know, can this happen?
No, I thought that they did a fantastic job, honestly. Absolutely. But you know, and especially the women, as far as their skating and everything goes, they were consistent. You know, hardly, you know, there weren't a lot of falls.
Yeah, that's what was even weirder. I mean, she was like spot on. I think she was leading up into the final run.
Yeah, and they were actually amazing. The men, you know.
I think the women.
I think the testosterone was a little high there.
I think
they were trying to prove themselves. That's all. They went for it more, or you know, they just did it. But anyway, that was what it was.
Yeah, it was still good. But I mean, I thought the spirit and like we were just saying, so you want to win.
I think the professionalism of it was
absolutely
really good,
and the camaraderie.
Yeah.
You know, you got Brazil, you got China, you got Japan, you got USA, and
all of them practice here.
Right. I was going to say they're going to see each other the next week. Exactly. So you know, and that was stronger to them than winning was the camaraderie amongst themselves. It's like win or lose. Fuck it, win or lose. Let's go skate. And that was really, really cool.
So how many companies did you just skate for Board and Smith the whole time, or did you ever go to another team, or how did that work? Were you just on GNS, were you just on Indy and just rode for OJs that whole time? Did you have any other sponsors?
Pretty much. Well, as far as like a board sponsor is my main sponsor. I was GNS the whole time through.
Okay.
There was a stretch when I almost went to Santa Cruz. I think it was one of the, like, you know, the cash was tight and Larry was trying to launch his clothing company.
Okay. Really? You rode for Santa Cruz for a minute, huh?
I didn't, but I was
you were going to.
Because I was riding OG wheels at the time.
Okay, gotcha.
And I think Tim Pomarda was probably running the team or whatever. And I was just like, he called me or I called him or whatever. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna fucking shoot myself. You know, everybody else gets a hotel room. We get a, you know, tent or whatever. And I can't do this anymore. And he's like, oh, okay. And so yeah, it was really close. I almost left. But I walked in the next day or close to the next day and just sat Larry down. I go, Larry, sit down and let me tell you a story. And then call me later. And I told him that story, you know, exactly how. And I said, all right, call me later. And he called me later. He's like, okay, what do you need? Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's Larry, man. He was, I had a couple, you know, I got to talk to him a few times.
Yeah. Oh, he's great.
Yeah, Larry was a really, really good guy. No question about it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Okay. When you were touring, okay, you know, there's a lot of stress. You're traveling with 3 or 4 5 other people.
Yeah.
How many times did we miss airplanes? Or how many times did there was incidents of stolen alcohol on airplanes or something like that, or nunchucks, like that type of thing? You know, I mean, I experienced all this kind of
nice
stuff.
to commit a felony.
So, exactly, right?
That's
well, when a 15-year-old does it, in the same Danny way.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you might get a slap on the wrist depending on where you're coming from.
Well, luckily for me, it happened in San Diego, and my brother was head of security over there. So we got off.
You would definitely want a friend.
Yeah, he thought, he was like, are you kidding me right now? You know, this is a felony. And Danny was like, well, I just bought him in China.
It's like, dumbass, put it in your suitcase and
exactly.
carry it in your carry-on.
Yeah, it was, well, no, actually what happened is he was in China a week and a half before.
Is that the Great Wall thing?
Yeah. No. This was long before that.
Right.
And he was down there for something else, and he came back and he bought nunchucks. He put it in his luggage and he mailed, sent it back. Well, the luggage got lost, and then it was put into like secondary over there, and then you have to go.
In San Diego?
Yeah, it's in San Diego. So he grabbed the bag and then tried to put it through he didn't check it because we were on an airplane,
Right.
and I had like 10 or 11 guys.
Yeah.
And they were already on board, all the plane, and then Danny does this. And they were
was that
like,
before he was boarding? You guys are
yeah.
It wasn't when he got
he and I were both like trying to board. I had no idea. And everybody else was on the plane. They're all ready to go to Hawaii without me. I have all the money, and I'm taking care of it.
Yeah, the
Oh, man.
team management.
So what kind of incidents happened with you on that? Like,
It wasn't too bad.
No?
I mean, for me, it's I think probably the military kid thing.
Okay.
For me, it wasn't really. I mean, we cut it close more than once, but usually we got to where we needed to be on time. But then on the plane, we kind of got a little,
rambunctious.
a little
Let's just say
rambunctious
that.
and bored every once in a while. So I mean, but I don't think there were any like major issues.
No fights, nothing like that on the airplane.
No, well, not with each other. I just remember one time we were flying British Airways or something like that, going to England, and Neil was just like crabby and pissy or whatever, and was just unloading on the flight attendant, who was a middle-aged man.
Oh boy! Oh gosh!
Not like you're.
Yeah.
Not like, so, anyways, that guy's like, "Oh yeah, where are you going?" He's like, "Yeah, London." It's like, "Yeah, all right. We'll have to chat with you about that when we land." But it was nothing really serious. We were just bored and just trying to get where we were going.
Okay, so. Do you remember what your first picture in the magazine was? Was it a regular picture? Was it an ad that you got? Like
my first picture in the magazine.
First picture. Was it in Skateboarder? Was it in Transworld?
Well,
Thrasher?
with like the ASPO bags, those little paper things.
Yeah, I remember that. The National Review or something?
Yeah, it was, they had like those little like newspaper things.
Yeah.
It's probably that, I would think.
What were you doing?
I don't know. Who knows? Well, it could have been slalom. It could have been freestyle. It could have been
that's right. Okay. All right.
I think it's freestyle at Oasis, to be honest with you.
Okay. All right. So anyway, okay. So I know you had like broken wrists. You had a lot of injuries like that. Mm-hmm. How are your knees now? Like your knees, I think, are more screwed up than my knees.
No. Mine they're actually pretty good.
Oh, okay.
Through my normal skating career, fine. Actually, really good. I never.
Yeah.
Occasionally, they'd swell up or something like that, but nothing serious. So my knees are pretty. Excuse me, safe because I learned a knee slide right away.
Okay.
However, though, when I left skating and went to work with Airwalk and everything, there's about a 15-year gap between stopping and starting again. And even telling myself, like, don't be an idiot. You're
right.
40, you're not 25.
Right.
Don't do this, that, and the other thing. I got sidetracked for a split second, and ACL, torn, meniscus. Actually, no, severed.
Oh, wow.
Meniscus, 2 bucket tears, and pretty much that. So that was the worst of it. But 2 operations later, and this naturopathic facility, which is a university and a clinic. My wife actually works there.
You gave me a free for that, and I went to that. It was really good.
Unbelievable. I mean, after my the first surgery, so they replaced the ACL from a cadaver, a 35-year-old woman. That was no problem. That went quickly.
Sexy.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. I was hoping to get that 1,000th% American Indian so my daughter could go to school for free. But didn't quite happen.
Kid gets the free property for that and healthcare.
Absolutely. Yeah, and proceeds.
All right.
Didn't quite work. Turns out I'm from Scotland and England, but anyway. So the ACL was really easy. That was like no big, but the meniscus, it's kind of like a shock absorber.
Yeah.
The first surgery didn't quite go right. We were trying to stitch it back, and hopefully it would heal, but a meniscus is kind of, it doesn't really repair, you know. It's not like a muscle or tendon. It's just,
Did you tear the inside? Did you tear the inside up of it?
both sides.
Well,
Yeah.
so your knee was just sliding all over the place.
It was a double bucket tear is what they called it. So the ears kind of popped up and he stitched them back down with a 50-50 at best chance of it. And it didn't. So I eventually had to go back and instead of, they just took it out then. Because it doesn't, no, it's little. I mean, it's little. It's like the size of like a poker chip. Yeah. So through all that and the meniscus and after the surgery, I was still in pain. A lot of pain, actually, like on a 1 to 10. And skateboarders know how to manage pain really well, you know. And even on our scale, like standard walking was like a 2 constant. Up and down the stairs was a 4. And running down
you don't
hills
do
was like
that.
an 8. Yeah.
You can't do it because
Yeah.
it feels like your knees are hyperextend.
And just
That's
the
how mine
pain
is.
and just all that.
Yeah.
And that went on for like a year, and I didn't have a lot of experience with like ACLs or meniscus or whatever. I'm like, you know, have a new ACL, you're lucky to what? And I just figured that was my life. I ended up at my wife's place, Bastyr University Clinic. It's naturopathic. It's basically everything up into the point of trauma and surgery and everything. So she's like, you know, you got to try this out. And she didn't really know if it was going to work or not. So I went, and it was like this team care thing. There's like an ND who's like the doctor, and then students too. So they were all there and, you know, full team care talking about it and do this, do that, do this, that. And he's like, okay, do you want to hear what's going on? I'm like, yeah, what do I do? And he's like, it's not your knee.
Oh, shit.
He's like, it is not your knee. He's like, you've been injured for so long, and probably from skateboarding, that it's not tracking properly because they check the spine, the hips, all that stuff. So I'm like, okay. And he's like, we'd like to try cranial sacral manipulation.
Try.
Or whatever.
That's scary.
No, they did it better than that, but they said cranial sacral, I don't even know what the word is. Anyways, long story short, this guy's like 6'3", skinny. You know, he's like, I'm gonna. Anyway, so long story short, he tells me what he's doing. He's like, okay, I'm gonna wrap you up in like a pretzel, twist you, and then he climbs on the table, and he's got one hand at the back of my skull, and the other hand on my basically tailbone. And it felt, I swear to God, we were talking this whole time, I swear to God, it felt like he was spinning plates. You know, and I've got the 6'3" like Chinese guy on me, and just like, what the fuck is this?
You recreate that on that side.
Yeah. Let's not.
I'm good. But anyway, so the thing is like, this whole thing was like 20, 30, 30 minutes total.
Yeah.
And he's like, done or whatever. And he's like, okay. Do you have any questions before you stand? I'm like, well, yeah, what the fuck were you doing? You know? I said, it felt like you were doing it. He's like, no, not at all. He's like, that was your body's getting back in alignment. He's like, I wasn't spinning anything. He's like, I was just supporting it, and your body went back into position. I hadn't stood up at this point yet. And I'm like, yeah, right, okay, whatever. He's like, so go ahead and stand up. And then so it was 80% better that day.
Wow.
That day, the next day I went for a run through the canyon. I hadn't been able to do that in like 2 years. So after a few more treatments, in total of 2 months, 100%.
Wow.
I was shocked. Yeah, I was absolutely shocked. I just thought, you tear your ACL and meniscus,
You're done.
you're done. Yeah.
Or you're at least for surgery, yeah.
Your whole body equilibrium off. 'Cause
Yeah.
You really overcompensate for that.
Oh,
that
God, yeah.
injury.
And on top of that, the years of skateboarding, you develop muscles pretty unevenly, unless you're doing counter training. But I'm shocked. He's like, stand up, and I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, okay, well, squat, and okay. So just like, and like no joke, 80% better that minute.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then after 4 to 6 weeks, it was. I haven't even thought about it since then. It was pretty cool.
Okay, so we are skating a little bit.
Yes.
We got a little bit of pump track action,
Yes.
which is always a lot of fun, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. This is. I think I was there that day too.
Well,
So-
I mean, I'm getting the the pump track virtual will be again Fridays at 9:30 to 11.
Beautiful.
I'll be there tomorrow if you can make it.
I can. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I got a meeting, but I'll make the next one.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
It's starting to build up again.
Okay. I was doing it Thursdays, but
I think it's easier.
I think so.
I mean, for me, it's not a huge deal, but I'm like, yeah, Friday, you know,
All right.
has a pretty structured job. Every once in a while, they can blow.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
Okay.
I can get a couple of guys to, yeah, that would be really cool. Yeah, that'd be great.
We'll definitely come down. I just can't do it. I just have actually made an appointment for tomorrow. I got some DMV issues. Yeah, everything came down this week on me, man. So I got burned. I got burned on the DMV thing, and then I blew a tire this week too. The first time on the freeway. That was a lot of fun. Got that changed. I showed up like 45, 50 minutes later than I want to do, and then but I just got like 5 minutes late for a meeting, and then I was still like, it was bad. And then I just got hit by the IRS. So those guys just
Love that.
like, okay, let's talk about your returns. Like, hey man, I haven't done a damn thing, so I don't really care. But it's just to have to do it. It's the fact that I got to go do it. It's like, come on, why do you guys hit me every 5 years? Like, what the heck, man? I'm like on the 5-year program.
Really?
So
They want to
anyway, yeah, they got me down for an audit. They want to see everything. I'm like, okay, well, here it is.
Yeah,
I
just do all mine through TurboTax.
Yeah.
And that's just all the records are there.
Well, yeah, I know, but I mean the same thing. I have a CPA that does mine, and here we go. But anyway, so let's. What's Billy up to now? What are we doing? Where are we living at?
It's still Del Mar, Carmel Valley.
Okay. By the skate park or?
Actually, not too far. It's the old Del Mar Park is off of Via de la Valle, just south of that, off of Del Mar Heights Road.
Okay. East or west side?
East side.
East side.
Kind of not too far from Torrey Pines High School.
Okay.
Like right there. Skating like the pump track.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do that as much as possible.
Well, we'll start getting the word out too.
Yeah, that's what it's just a slow roll.
It's good for us old guys with bad knees.
Well, that's the thing, dude. 'Cause it's super fun.
And you just gotta dodge little kids on scooters, and you're okay.
If you get there early enough, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
It's a real social thing. I like the social part of it too, because I mean, I'll be there for like 2 hours. That'll go by in a second.
Yeah.
And like, I took
Is Steve
5
Cap-
minutes because I was talking to you for 20 minutes, and then Steve for 20 minutes, and then Dennis, and
Well, I mean, I know, like, in the last couple times I've been going.
You're 16.
yeah, no, absolutely, that's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. That place has allowed me to re-experience the excitement in skateboarding that got me hooked in the beginning. I get
It's fun,
it feels like
especially with everybody. Yeah, just like
exactly. And it's a blast. We have a super good time.
Okay.
There are actually, I don't know if this is public knowledge, but if it isn't, they got funded for another pump track.
Really
Yeah, funding was approved through San Diego Parks and Rec.
awesome.
I don't know the location or the timeline. What I could gather, it's going to be more south, but it has to be within the city of San Diego.
Right.
Like maybe
What?
Tierra Santa, or
Oh, that'd be awesome.
so that way you could kind of offload some of the guys that come up here, girls, to that one instead of having to drive so far. And I think there's going to be 6 total.
I just hope that they do. Just hope they like copy a good one,
Well, that's
and not try and do something new and stupid. Period. Well, Carmel Mountain
it's
is
a good,
one.
it's a good start.
Yeah, that's a good one. The fact is like I just went and skated a pump track, and it was.
Yeah, the one in Carmel Valley.
No, the one. Okay, well, that one is like super rough, and it could be fun. It's asphalt. It could be fun, but they put boulders on the side, so when you go off it, man, you're in the boulders.
Oh, sure.
And that is where I broke my kneecap, and I broke my bursa cup because.
Yeah.
And then they have like 2 levels, and my truck's actually grinded and stopped, and I was hauling butt, and it caught, and I just stopped my board. I went flying into the next bump, and that's when I had to go get my knee drained. And first cup was just like,
I
it was horrible, man.
Totally remember you told me about that.
That's where it happened. In fact, I was with all the Gravity guys.
Yeah.
And Bobby G, I don't know if you know Bobby G? He's when we started skate camp up in Visalia.
Oh yeah, Goodspeed.
Yeah, Goodspeed. Yeah, Bobby G.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Goodspeed was there. I was meeting him. He wanted to check the place out, so I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. And yeah, man, I got hammered. I was there for like 3 runs. We were trying to beat, I had to beat 12-second laps with everybody, you know?
Oh.
Anyway, I was trying to beat my 12-second lap, and I think I was coming in like 12:61. And I'm like, oh, I can do it. I can do it. And then, you know, I got hammered. It was terrible.
That's like, dude, keep your ego down.
Yeah, I know. Well, I was just trying to keep up with those meatheads, so my bad.
That too.
Yeah. So what's going on in Billy's life day to day? Where are we working? What are we doing?
Just raising girls with my wife. One's heading to Long Beach State this year. The other one's just starting high school, which she actually goes. Both of them go to the school CCA, which is right next to the pump track, which is handy.
Is that that's the school, the parking lot, right to it, right? Yeah, I know the one. Yeah, okay.
High school. Yeah, so they both go there. Yeah, just raising girls and trying to get to the pump track as much as I can.
All right, here's a big one. Here's a fun one.
Okay.
If you had to give advice to any of the skaters nowadays, okay, what kind of advice would you give them as far as like contest advice or like, I guess it depends on the level of the skater, but you know, for me personally, I see these guys skating with no pads and everything else, and even though my pads were terrible back in the day, they were still pads.
Yeah.
And I feel my body now. And I just think to myself, these poor kids are going to be destroyed when they're like 50, you know? But
I mean, watching the Tony Hawk film, that kind of brought that pretty close to the center for me. I mean, I guess it like as they're trying to become pro or whatever. It's kind of a different world than when we were doing it, but.
Yeah, but you still see it. You're still involved.
Yeah. So what advice would I give them? That's a tough question, actually.
Okay, well, let me think of it. Let me think of another easier one.
Okay. I'll keep that one on hold for a second.
All right, well, so my next one then, I kind of want to ask you, we both had a really good friend that passed, D. Damon Dodge.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I know you went on and be on the call of any duty to help him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tried.
And, you know, he was an interesting guy. He was very unique.
Yeah.
He was a great guy, man. I mean, I loved him. His humor was so off the beaten track that it made it twice as funny once you caught up to it.
Right.
Like
smart guy, actually.
I know he was.
He's an electrical engineer.
Yeah. I know he was, and like he would say things to me, and I would just sit there like. And I had to think about it for a second.
Next minute, you're
not kidding, are you?
Wow, you're right.
You know.
Yeah. So Pi Day. Okay, let's see. All right, I get it. You know. Yeah,
But 14.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, Pi Day. And you have to get a pie early that day because they were sold out. Damon. We got to be really, really good friends. Him and I definitely, but my family as well. My wife, he has an equal level of understanding of music as he does for skateboarding.
Good job.
Yeah. No, he has an encyclopedic interest in skateboarding and music. So my wife is just nuts about, like 80s bands, Ramones, all that. Right. So they would stay up all night just talking about this, or we'd even he'd usually come down every other weekend, depending on his travel stuff, but we'd do like, Ramones night, where we'd watch a Ramones video and just, go through it. Damon actually, not that I was planning this, but, when he used to live in Wisconsin, it probably was like late 70s or something like that, I'm guessing. the Ramones were playing in his town, and I think I don't know if he just bumped into him or somebody said, hey, they're over there, go. So anyways, long story short is they're like sitting in a diner eating like, burgers. So he sits down, introduces himself and joins them and then just takes them on a tour for like
That's rad.
Yeah, just like in the back of his car.
Yeah.
That's the personality that he was, So yeah, no, he really bonded well, with my wife, obviously myself, my two daughters. He was like Uncle Damon, because part of his job, he was it's a courier for the film industry.
Right.
What that is like, for instance, it's kind of something like this. He goes to the studio. This is one of the trips. Had to deliver the ruby slippers to somebody in Frankfurt for something. So, he gets a call. An hour later, he's on a plane flying to Frankfurt, to deliver this, or going to drop off a clip of a movie to Obama.
Yeah.
He did a lot of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he traveled tons. But he'd always bring stuff back for the girls. There's these things called Kinder eggs, the chocolate cups and the
Yeah.
They're very popular here now, but 7, 8, 10 years ago or whatever they weren't.
Aren't those things like from Russia too?
No, they're from
Germany, yeah,
Okay.
like chocolate egg.
Okay, yeah.
But they have like real toys in them.
Yeah.
It's not just like
And they're cheap. What's surprising is they're so inexpensive. But
Yeah.
These are expensive.
Absolutely, yeah. They're like really. It's not like you just get the little thing in your Cracker Jacks. I mean, these are like full blown, like you have to put them together to play with them. So he'd always bring those back, and it was before that stuff got here. So it's just a cool thing. Yeah, he's a good friend. I really miss the guy a lot. Yeah, our whole family does.
Yeah, he was awesome, man. I mean, I think everybody that knew him misses that guy.
Oh, absolutely. Always
So,
in a good mood. Willing to do whatever, whenever, wherever, and if it included skateboarding and music, even better.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, do you have anything that you want to add to this?
Look into the camera and talk.
Yeah. Anything I want to add to it?
Do you want to say shout outs to anybody special?
Who do you want me to help you get on the show?
Who do I want? Oh man, I mean, I want to get everybody.
Tell your
eventually.
audience to send your top 3 choices.
Yeah.
And I will help you get some of these guys on the show. But have you guys send a list and then just give me the top 3 and we'll work on it together.
That sounds awesome, man. Yeah, that would be awesome. Actually, next.
He's got a great hair for booking.
Yeah, I know, man. Booking is really kind of tough sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Next week I have a really interesting guest. It is. Jeff Tatum is going to be joining me.
Should be entertaining.
Yeah, man. I know, man. Tatum Raw and
Tethered Tatum.
Yeah, man. I can't wait because I knew Jeff. I mean, he was one of the guys that I looked up to. Him and the UFO guys.
Yeah,
San Diego.
Right.
The North.
John Hughes.
Yeah, man. I mean.
Yeah, Gunner. I still
Gunner.
talk to Gunner to this day.
Yeah.
At the events we put on, or just Yeah. That's like part of that skate
exactly.
But in San Diego, it's more here than I don't see this stuff happening in San Francisco. Here we all help to put on events. We create, if we're bored, we create something. And then we call each other and. Somebody asked me about that. It's like, how do you put on these events? Like I've done some with Damon's fundraiser and Hall of Fame stuff, and it's like, how do you guys get this and do this? I'm like, it's really easy. You just ask one person to help,
right?
And they'll ask 2 people to help, and they'll ask 4 people. Then all of a sudden you've got, and it's done. And since they're participating, you have to do it now.
Yeah, that's the key. That's the key, man.
Yeah. If you get
well, and it also goes back to being in the parking game.
Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, Billy, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah.
Everyone, we're gonna finish this up by putting Billy's Hall of Fame. that the people from the Hall of Fame put on.
Oh,
So they'll be
yeah,
able to
that-
watch that on the video.
Yeah, that was really, that shocked the heck out of me. I had no idea that they were.
I had no
putting that
idea.
together.
I had no idea. Oh,
Yeah.
actually, I was supposed to put something together.
Me too.
And then I started to do it, and I called up Laura, and I said, Laura, I got a question for you. And she goes, no, don't do anything. Don't do it. It's
Yeah.
already been done.
Yeah.
And I'm
He told
like,
me the same thing. I think I
oh,
called Todd and said,
wait a minute.
I'm like, Todd, I can't call Laura and tell her I'm blowing it. He's like, dude, we got you. Don't worry about it. It's cool.
Yeah, well, if anybody, it's like, I don't know, did you do a bio for it?
Yeah.
I didn't either, man. Mine's just blank. Mine's just like
I think mine's like a picture of me like 15. Just,
I have 4 pictures and 2 of them are duplicates and
one's reversed. It's not that I'm incapable of doing that. It's
I just haven't got to it. I really want to do it, man. The people at the hall, those guys work their asses off
my God, yeah.
and do so much and they get no credit. And
yeah,
everybody's
yeah.
always bitching about them because certain people aren't in yet. And, it's just it's a patience, it's a timing thing.
oh
and,
yeah, no, those guys are amazing.
They,
I mean,
they will get it
Laura and
together.
Todd and-
I know right now they're in the middle of working on it again.
Seems like it was just last week.
Yeah, I know.
Well, it was the double
But,
duty one,
yeah,
too, which
that was-
was really, really cool because
Yeah.
usually you go to this events and there's a lot of the like eBay people. How do you say this?
Oh, yeah. Nothing.
Not one. And everybody that did
Yeah.
ask me to sign something was like, hey, Billy, I either knew them or they said, look, this is for a German newspaper, da 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 da.
Where was your table in it?
At the Hall of Fame?
Yeah. You up in the front or in the back or the middle?
We're in the back by,
Okay.
like, say you're facing the stage.
Yeah.
We're probably 10 tables back because Laura put
Okay.
like Schmidt, us, Steve, Doug. We're all kind of in the, and I think you were just on the edge too. We're all.
I was all the way. I was the very, very back. I was
just.
only Dennis was behind me.
We were just like, okay, so Dennis was there. We were the one to your left.
Okay.
And she put
gotcha.
us back there because Schmidt had a couple of tables,
Okay.
and he wanted to do the table of 10 in the back for his, but then he wanted to be close to us too.
Yeah.
So it kind of, I don't know. I was on my feet. I sat down for like 20 minutes, so it didn't matter.
I got there late and there was no table.
I got there
There was
you did.
there was. All my chairs were stolen. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, well, I guess let's go.
I walked in right behind you
Yeah,
and stood
and then-
in the front.
And then it was funny, and then all of a sudden, man, these people all brought chairs up. I was like, oh, cool, thank you.
It was that was good.
funny.
They did. I mean, the only thing is that I heard is the lighting,
Yeah.
because it was up lighting,
Right.
so photos look like we look really
Yeah.
old this year. Oh wait, we are.
Oh, we
old.
are.
But yeah, we didn't need the help.
Yeah, I know,
But
right?
other than that, no. I mean, Steve at Vans just
Yeah.
graciously opening up his space for those guys, and
Yeah.
it was good. I liked
That was smart marketing on his part, though.
Oh,
To
yeah.
get all the Hall of Fame people to be just hanging out at Vans, like all of us. So now we're all Vans guys.
Yeah, check that. Actually, because they gave Vans away to us. My daughter took one pair and I took the other.
Oh, did you? Oh, I didn't get any.
There's and the only way I didn't even know we were supposed to get one, probably because we were late.
Yeah.
The only way I knew to get one is we're getting ready to leave and we're just a few last photos or whatever, just saying goodbye to this and that, and then Laura comes walking by and she's like, wait, stop. Oh, where are you going? I'm like, home? She's
Yeah.
like, no. And then she ran in the back and grabbed 2 bags.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
maybe I got yours. But
I walked out without it, man, but it's all right. I
it
don't
was
care.
cool. No,
Yeah.
that was a great night. And it was, for me, what was really nice is the year before, you were this year though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but Steve, Dennis,
Yeah, the
Doug,
2020 class.
yeah, so we got to go together.
Yeah. Yeah.
San Diego. I mean,
I was the very last of all 40 whatever people.
yeah.
Yeah.
Probably because they were reversed.
I don't know, man. Yeah. Thank you. Thank
They
you.
went reverse, A flat.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
It was
just
cool. Yeah,
fine.
it was fun.
I just was laughing because they're like, okay, we have one more person. I'm like, oh, maybe this isn't my class.
You
Maybe I'll be
didn't,
there
no, you
next
didn't
year.
get 18 yet first.
No.
That was the action.
It's my first fucking last.
Yeah. Like, really? Come on, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, that was fun.
But anyway, all right. Well, let's put that on, and thank you guys for watching. And again, if you guys can hit the subscribe button and the like button, and like Billy said,
send me top 3.
Yeah, send us a top 3, and we'll figure out. You know, between all of us, we've got some good connections of some guys, and we'll keep bringing them in. I got Tatum coming in next week. I've got some really good people coming.
Get him going off on the whole backside all.
Of course, of course.
Like throughout the whole thing, it's easy.
Hey, I hate to say it, man, but I will give Tatum credit.
He gets absolute credit.
Absolute credit for the backside ollie. I witnessed that like 77.
Yeah.
And I just thought.
He used to jump the pipes.
Exactly.
That's where.
But that's. Yes, that's what I saw. It was
Dakota. Yeah, exactly.
And that coping was huge. He'd bounce off that stuff, and I'd be like, "What a mistake! What are you doing? How's the board leaving the ground?" You know. Yeah, I know.
Whatever.
It was like 36 inches by 7 inches wide. But we'll find it all next week.
Yeah, totally fine. All right.
Anyway, check out the video, everybody. Thank you very much for being here. And can't wait to see you guys next week. Thanks again.
Thanks, Dave.
Yep.
Billy Ruff had his window of 2 years where pretty much unbeatable. He knew how to put runs together. He went higher, he went really high at that point, and he extended his runs in the contest to having 2 or 3 tricks right at the end that were just added bonuses.
Billy Ruff was San Diego, and as we all know, one of the most legendary stalled inverts ever. But what I like to tell people, and I feel like this has really been buried, but Billy Ruff did the first 540. He did the unit. Like, that was the first 540 ever done. Billy Ruff. I don't care if he put his hand down. First 5.
He was at his peak kind of during a really dead time in skateboarding, you know, early 80s, 80, 81, 82. He was one of the raddest, most like progressive skaters at that time. Super stylish and a super cool dude. Billy Ruff kind of really embodied the early 80s, I think.
Yeah, Billy Ruff, one of the first master blasters in skateboarding that I remember, doing those huge airs at Del Mar. Really pushed skateboarding to another level. So congrats on your induction into the Hall of Fame.